Looking for an easy option for equipment or plant hire? Hire Power NT staff of over 40 years experience in the territory and are now located in 3 convenient locations. With quality customer service and extensive product knowledge, why would you use anyone else? You'll find us in Yarrawonga, Winnellie and Catherine with the latest, most up-to-date equipment for the local tradie and DIY enthusiast. Call us today for all your equipment and plant hire needs. We've got it, or we'll get it.
The 2022 Shannons Insurance NTE Series is back with a new challenge, all thanks to our series sponsors. Shannons Insurance, Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning, Paul Mansell Photography, NP Style Signage and Graphics, Auto Inspections and Road Services NT, West Oz Roof Restorations, Higher Power NT, Pool Guys Adelaide, Pool Drive, and Maddicab Media. Hello everybody and welcome to the 2022 Shannons Insurance NTE Series, back for the 3rd season. As we get underway, I'm Matty Kavanagh, and joining me in the commentary box for season number 3 is going to be Tegan Peck, back from a little hiatus from doing some commentary, and of course Daniel Lead, who's well known throughout the sim community for doing lots of commentary in the background. Welcome, gents.
Oh, this is great to be back for another year, Matty Cav. I mean, when we kicked this off in 2020, it was such a cool little series to sort of, you know, branch out while COVID was going on, and now we've got the opportunity to bring it back for a 3rd year in a row. And I mean, you know, when you talk about the fact that, you know, there was the 2 of us who got to bring the series together, now having Dan join us, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, Dan, look, welcome to the series. Big congratulations for joining us. So far, you've just seen a few practice sessions. What are your thoughts of some of the names you've seen floating around in the entry list?
Yeah, good evening, gents. Look, I'm really looking forward to it. There's some really good names throughout the community. Guy Leach, off the top of my hat, yeah, he's been around as a stalwart within iRacing and is very competitive in all these cars. So very much looking forward to seeing what he can do. We've got the one New Zealander out there tonight, and Damon Mulqueen, who is very quick in both these cars and also the supercars, which we'll see later tonight. So I think he could be a bit of a ring-in to maybe put on for a good performance as well.
Yeah, no, we've definitely got some names in there, and Guy Leach, you say that, last year's champion. But don't forget, if you want to follow everything that's happening on, of course, www.nteseries.com. We've been doing some work in the background there. You can go along the links there. You can find the live timing, so you can watch the timing come up as they go around, as well as a little bit of a track map going on there. So follow it to the website, of course, nteseries.com.au, to find out exactly what's happening. If you're not following us on the socials already, of course, we are sending it out on YouTube tonight, Twitch, and, of course, over the Facebook. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. But this is really how it's going to go down, isn't it, guys? We had a 2-hour practice session a little bit earlier, but something a little bit different. The first time we've done it here as part of the NTE series is we've got TCR cars, obviously a bit newer to iRacing, and great to have them on board. 30 minutes practice session is about to come up. So this is just a little bit of a 5 minutes practice session. Well, not a practice session, I suppose, as they get out, a little warm-up to get into the server. We've got a 30-minute qualifying session coming your way before we have our little changeover break there while everyone just gets reset onto the starting grid, and then we go into a 20-minute race tonight. Then we change servers over to the supercars. We've got another 30-minute qualifying session, and then we head to a 40-minute race that will have one pit stop in it. So a little bit different to what we've been doing, Tegan, in the last few seasons is you've got to get in 2 different cars and get yourself around there, and you have to compete in all the cars to get the points.
Yeah, definitely. It's a complete change up to what we've done previously. Obviously, we focused on the supercar component of the NTE series previously, whereas now we're slightly changing it. And whilst we're all doing this virtually, it's going to throw a nice little spanner in the works. Is you're going to have the supercar that you're so used to, but you're also, to start off the night, you're doing the TCR. And whilst it's a 30-minute qualifying and 20-minute race, it's still all important because it's going to count towards those series points at the end of the show. And I guess the challenging piece is it's going to make the guys really see how they can change between cars and still focus on what they're doing and still achieve what they need to. And as you said, that's a really important piece there in itself. Is that if you want the series points, it's not something that you can turn up late to and jump in the supercar because that's what you're better at. You actually have to race both races. So if you don't turn up to the TCR race or vice versa with the supercars, you don't actually get your series points. But I guess on the flip side of that, it also means that if you start off the night and in the TCR race or in the supercar race, you have a bit of a bad run, you can still gain those all-important points in the next race.
Dan, run us through some of the differences between the TCR and supercar, some of the challenges that the drivers are going to face.
Well, I think Tegan put it pretty well there. The biggest key for all these guys is adaptability. We go from a front-wheel drive car in the TCR back to a rear-wheel drive animal in the supercar, and they're 2 completely different styles of driving philosophy that these guys need to wrap their head around. And especially around a circuit like Phillip Island, very quick speeds around here. It's going to put a lot of pressure on those front tyres. And in the TCR, you need to get that thing to last for 20 minutes, which is not going to be an easy feat. So that'll be a tricky one for them, at least for the guys switching back into the supercar. I mean, everyone in Australia knows how to pedal the supercars on iRacing there, and you can just get the back out a little bit more, play with it on the throttle. It's a little bit nicer for your style. So the adaptability piece is huge here. And as Tegan was saying before, getting everyone here to, compete both in the TCR and the supercar, not have a dud race in race 1 or 2, because there is championship points to play for, is going to be key. And we're going to see a lot of these guys doing a lot more work outside of the race nights to get their cars up to speed, get their driving style up to speed. And I think the other thing too that we've got to keep an eye on here is it's fixed sets across the board for all these guys as well, whether you're in the TCR or the supercar. So that's going to be a little bit different, and we might see from race to race, especially as we get through the season, that's going to play in nicely to other drivers as this goes on.
Yeah, the practice session earlier, we saw a lot of supercar testing early on, but they've jumped into the TCR, so they're fresh for this one.
Well, and I think it's going to be a pretty interesting piece in itself, Dan and Maddie. Like, when you look at it, you've got to practice at each track, and you've got to put in the time, the effort behind the sim to make sure that you're going to be prepped for that track. So what we've seen in the past with these racing is that the guys will generally, they'll do all their practice of the track they're racing at, that week leading up to. Whereas now they don't just have a supercar they've got to jump into. They've got to do it in both cars. They're going to have to really know their way around both cars. So you hope for some of these guys, they have been doing a bit of racing in both the supercars and the TCRs leading up to this. And I guess probably another interesting one, obviously we have 5 rounds for the 2022 series. We know 4 of the tracks, but one is going to be a mystery one, and the 3 of us don't even know where it's going to be. So we can't even get any sort of insider understanding to the guys. So, as soon as that track is released and everyone knows where we're going, it's going to be all about getting the all-important laps and hours on the track to make sure that these guys are tuned to what they need to do.
Yeah, we talked about some of the entries there. Let's have a look at a couple of things as we go through the entries. Now, this is very interesting, a bit of state by state. Now, we've actually got a Kiwi joining us this time, so it's great to see that we've enticed from across the ditch to come over and join us in this one, which is we're sort of getting more people involved. It started off as really just a Northern Territorian thing, but as time has progressed, we've had more and more people interested in the series. Of course, Shannons Insurance for the 3rd year in a row have decided to get behind it and give us their support, so it's fantastic that we've been able to do that. And it's Damon Malqueen, who's very, very well accomplished when it comes to obviously iRacing and getting on the sim format. So we'll have to wait and see how Damon goes this one, because been quite fast when it comes to the practice sessions there. But you can see 14 cars there come from the Northern Territory, 9 from WA, 2 from Queensland, 6 from South Australia. New South Wales got 7 entries and 6 from Victoria, so we're just missing out on the Tasmanians. So Nick, hopefully we another season 4, we just get a Tassie on there, we're done.
Didn't quite get across that ditch, did we, Matty?
No, that's the smaller one. We didn't get there. Maybe it's the way we spoke about it in the first 3 seasons.
It's pretty exciting too, like the fact that when you look at the series, it's the 3rd year running of it, and when you look at those figures as well, so we've got 45 drivers competing in the 2022 series. 31 of those are returning. There's only 14 that are new. So if we've, and you look at the list that's up on the board, there's a lot of names that have been there throughout this entire show. Jumped on board in the first one, and they were there last time, and they're returning once again. And I can't wait to see what some of these guys are doing, because as I look through that list, I just start to think of all the people who really rattled it up last year. And, I'm looking down the list, and Callan Gear is a name that jumps out to me very quickly. Hopefully he's actually lined up his roster this time, that he's going to be able to compete at all events.
Yeah, I hope that is the case. Obviously we do have the returning. Obviously Paul Mansell took out series number 1, and his teammate, Guy Clare, took out series number 2. So they have returned now with the Cool Drive liveries on there. It was Injectors Online before. So I believe there's been a bit of a deal done between the 2 companies there, which is why we see them in the Cool Drive sort of thing. Mark Peck's back for his 3rd season, so it's he's 2 years into racing now, and he's already in his 3rd season of NTE series.
That's exactly right. He's doing well, and I'm sure he's got his best flip out socks on right now as he sits in his sim back in Darwin. But when you have a look at how the series stacked up last year too, Matty and Dan, like the caliber of racing that we had. So the top 2 spots were split by 3 points. And I remember as we were going through that final round, there was, so many possibilities of who could have won the series, and it was basically a certain person had to finish in 10th for someone to win. And, we had Guy Leach, who came through on 648 points, Jack Widders 645, and then there was a decent gap back to Paul Mansell on 585. So, the series is going to be great. And, Dan, I'm sure you're going to be excited to watch this as it unfolds.
Well, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just keeping an eye on all the cars as they're out getting their laps in for qualifying, and just looking at the track map of where everyone is. It's like parking at Pitt Street. It's near impossible to get yourself a little bit of room here. And I think from what we're already seeing when we look down the timing tower at the moment, we've got Nathan Norman out the front there, only 0.2 of a second up on Damon Mulquin. Guy Leach, 0.02 of a second, just fluttering in 3rd position there. So I think that in itself is going to breed some fantastic racing, especially with how close the TCR is, and then later on with the supercars. It's going to be very good. But qualifying right now, it's all important for these guys to get themselves as far up the pecking order as they can, and getting ready for round 1.
Yeah, just having a look as they go through. I was actually hoping a couple of the boys might have been on there, because we do actually have a couple of the webcams running tonight, so we can catch up with a few of the drivers there. And I'm just going through and seeing where the boys have ended up. We did have Blake Warboys up on the webcam, but he's just dropped off there. Very, very busy behind the wheel. So, and I'm spewing because I can actually see the webcams in the background here. I was trying to bring them up for you, but Tyrone Anderson is having a sneaky little beverage there.
As you would.
As you would. Let's check out Tim Grace in the meantime, because we've got Tim Grace. We'll get him up here now. Let's have a chat about this man. He is driving one arm.
That's pretty impressive, to be honest. And one-armed, and you can see that. So that's the differences between our sim racing as well, right? Is so some guys have the traditional computer setup where they'll have their sim set up with their steering wheel and pedals, their seat, and then they'll have a screen in front of them. You'll see some of the guys that pop up on the screen. I think we've got 2 of the webcams that show that they're actually running the virtual reality goggles. So that's just a completely different thing in itself. And so they're wearing their goggles. They're not looking at a screen, and they're basically they're in the car. So it's quite full on if you've never actually done it. I went around, and Zdenek Radomski, who was part of the first series, let me have a go at his to see if it was something that I wanted, and I was violently ill after probably 2 laps at Phillip Island.
Yeah, I think it's very hard with the VR. I think you've got to either like it or you don't like it. It's very, very simple there. You make a decision very, very quickly to what's going on. Another couple of names I noticed there. Kevin Norman, obviously well known for the flat-out karts when he does the go-kart racing. A lot of the races here, obviously that's how the relationship started back in the go-kart racing days, coming up from the Northern Territory. And A lot of them from Western Australia as well. So it's good to see Kevin Norman back there in 7th. His brother Nathan Norman just up at number 1. There you can see up on the charts there with the 1 minute 37.428. So still some names going through. Blake Warboys was very, very quick in the practice session as well. So watch for him to come through. And I'm just having a look for someone who was leading the series for most of it last year was Jack Widdus. Now, he is back. He came down to that final race there for Jack Widdus. We've seen him do a lot of stuff when it comes to normal TCR racing, just in the Supercar series. So, in the Super Cheap series, Super Cheap TCR series, and very, very good behind the wheel. Understands how the car sort of goes around there, but he jumps in the iRacing format and just continues on with that progression that he has. One name that we are waiting to see is if Clay Richard jumps in tonight. Of course, he was at the track today. He may not make it, but hopefully Clay Richards, who joined us last season, might be back. Of course, our grandson there, obviously to the man. So hopefully he'll make it through the series. And we do have another person joining us tonight. We do actually have a wild card entry here, or we'd like to get along, and it's a brother of one of our other entrants there, and it's great to see him come along. Sean Norris is actually joining us, who is competed at the Olympics when it comes to Paralympians in the basketball. So what's it like to have a Paralympian on board? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see how he goes tonight. But imagine that, not being able to use the pedals, just using all the hand controls.
Well, that's right.
I was going to say, whatever he's doing, it's working. He's up in 11th position at the moment in qualifying, so he's definitely got the pace on this car.
Yeah, and we talked about Tim Gracie before, and he's racing with one arm, and but obviously Norris there, Sean Norris is racing all paddles, so everything comes down to how he controls the steering wheel, and make sure that he's got the the accelerator and brake still under control. So it would be a huge feat in itself, and it'd be quite interesting if we can have a look during the series to see how his setup actually is situated, because you obviously have your gears on the steering wheel as well, so you've got to have accelerator and that sort of thing. And Dan, have you ever come across anything like that in the iRacing?
Well, not in an iRacing perspective, no. But when we found out that he was going to be on the race tonight, it instantly brought back memories of Alex Zanardi, who, for anyone who watched the Daytona 24 in 2019, he took part in the BMW there, all with hand controls, and had a very strong run. So it's great to see the Aussie guys coming in and still being able to match it as much as they're doing right now.
Yeah, we can, like you say, he's getting around there still. I'm just checking him up, actually. He's just moved out of 11th. They've gone to 12th. So we just got beaten by Jake Burgess, who's our fearless leader, who's got right behind him, who really kicked off the series. So, but congratulations to Jake. He's running all of our series sponsors on the side of his car, of course, like he always does, the Shannons Insurance NTE Series car. And last season, he was 4th or 5th, actually, from memory, in the results. He did really well last season, Jake, to get that on there, especially with what he's doing behind the scenes, everything that it takes there. To get these things going, as we might have a look at the 2021 results. Here we go. It's last season there, like say, Guy Leach, Jack Widdus in 2nd. Paul Mansell was 3rd, so he's got a 1st and a 3rd when it comes to the NT Series. Jake Burgess in 4th, Kevin Norman 5th. Dylan Saints ended up in 6th. Daniel Norris, of course, brother to Sean Norris there, ended up in 7th. Michael Halkitis 8th. Nathan Norman in 9th, and Ryan Robson 10th. Now, I reckon it's only Michael Halkitis who hasn't rejoined us here for the NT Series, or Series number 3. So it's great to see 9 out of those top 10 are back, as well as a few new names there to get us through the series. And you can see up on the qualifying board there, Nathan Norman still up the top of the charts at the moment.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier too with Callan Gear. I said he's one of the guys to watch, and as we get through the Pecky's Performance qualifying session, you just see his name jump up to nearly the top of the tree, and he's only 0.211 off the top qualifying time at the moment of Nathan Norman. So Callan Gear, I'm calling it early here, lads. I think he's going to be one of our guys that we need to keep an eye on. If he can make it to all the rounds, I think we could see him at the pointy end of the field.
I take it back. Michael Halkitis is here. I just have not got through the entry list properly. That is my fault. Good to see him back here. Good to see Michael back. We love the Halkitis.
It's not very often that you get it wrong, Cav. So.
No, just all the time. I've had a lot going on when it comes to this series. We did a lot of work behind the scenes and getting this out there. The last thing I've read is the entry list. I think it's all been graphics for about 4 weeks. But we're going good. It's good to see the streams up. Of course, make sure you throw your comments in there. We'll try and banter with you a bit if you're watching us out on the live stream somewhere. Good to see so many people back in the series for 2022. And of course, one person we need to mention is Mr. Ryan Robson, or as we commonly like to refer to him as Deborah.
Old Deborah. He's another one of the guys who can really wheel it around. It's I think it should be pretty interesting to see how he goes. He's had a lot more time under his seat now as well, so it could be interesting to see how he gets on.
He'd almost be old enough to have a beer by now, I reckon. Almost.
He'd be getting close, yeah. He'd be getting close for sure.
Yeah, young gun. Watch out for Ryan Robson. We did see him very impressive in a few races last season. And something might happen there. You just never know. Don't forget, we've got some prize money to give away as part of this series. As you can see, $200 for first, $100 for second, $50 for third. And, of course, we've got our best presented hold, best presented forward. All thanks to Higher Power. Then we go to drive of the day, $25 in iRacing credits per round, so they'll get a drive of the day for each round. Our best and fairest over the season, all thanks to West Oz Roof Restorations. Of course, the pool guys, Adelaide, will give the most improved $80 cash, and we don't leave out the wooden spooners. If you get in the series, you get involved, and unfortunately, it might not be your series. Maybe bad things happen. Maybe you're just not up to the level of some of the guys and girls that have been out there doing this for a number of years. We give $50 cash to the wooden spooner. So, sometimes if you're down the back, maybe just have a good time.
No, nothing wrong with having a good time down the back, mate. There's still plenty of racing to go on there.
Surely Commentators Awards made it into it here by now.
No, they're still not giving money to the Commentators Awards.
Yeah, that's strange. I thought with bringing in a third commentator that this was the year, but yeah, okay. We'll have to rally to it together and maybe try and get something going next year.
Another thing they've jumped on, of course, the Breaking Late podcast have jumped on, and after each of the championship rounds, they're doing recap results, talking to some of the drivers, all the wildcard interviews, all that tuning in on a Thursday night. So check that out, the Breaking Late podcast. If you go find them all over, of course, social media, they'll have it out there, and you can follow the podcast and the series. If you missed out on something and you just want to go and find out, and just watch to see who they will be catching up with throughout the weeks. They'll be doing that all the way through the series, which is great. That saves us having to do it, doesn't it, Tim?
Oh, that's exactly right. I think we put that very much down the bottom end of the list.
It's been busy. We've got 30 minutes remaining in this qualifying session, all thanks to Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tune. Let's have a little bit of a look at the conditions out there now as we bring up the race preview. Of course, we are in our 30-minute dash for qualifying. Oh, big crash there in the background. It's all right, though. I'm sure they'll be able to get them back. It's Ryan Robson getting hammered in the background. 4.41 kilometres, 12 turns to get around here at the moment. So 1:37.428 is the fastest lap from Nathan Norman. Air temps are 19 degrees. Track temp 22, not too bad. Humidity is right down. So conditions are pretty good, aren't they, Dan?
Yeah, really favourable conditions, especially for the guys out here. They can really get on and attack the circuit during qualifying, and that's going to help, especially with those front tyres on these cars. And I'm just keeping an eye down through the timing and scoring at the moment. And we'll talk about how close this field is. The top 15 drivers separated by a second at the moment. So not much in it. And if you can get on one of those laps or maybe get a bit of a draft down the front straight there, definitely going to be able to vault yourself up a couple of positions here.
Yeah, Jack Wittes on a bit of a run there in the Audi. He's decided to get on. He's currently sitting in third position. Just gets past someone just moves to the side there. So is that Mr. Mark Pecky in the background? I'm not quite sure if it is, but yeah. Watch for him. Moved up into third position now in the Audi. I'm just having a look. The Hyundai Elantra is actually leading the charts. Guy Leach. Sorry, I'm actually looking at this wrong. I've got to go up my time. So we've got so many people here, 45 people. So Jack was up to 6th place there. Guy Leach in 4th. And right between them splitting is Blake Warboys, who we saw was very fast in practice. We'll have to wait and see if he gets back out and does some more laps. We've actually got him back on our webcam, boys. So he's come back in, Mr. Blake Warboys. He's just dropped off the webcam there. I'm hoping it's going to work now because I might have lost it. I might have lost a little bit of a link there. I might have took a bit of work in the background there. We'll get that sorted and we'll have a bit of a catch up with him very, very shortly. But Blake did a fair bit of work behind the wheel there, and was very animated a bit early when it came to practice there. I think he was under the laugh of the boys when it came to Discord.
There we go. He's got him on screen just in time to watch him chuck it off turn 2 there. He's going to get that one back online. The times for all these guys, looking at what they're doing, we've got just over 11 minutes left in this 30-minute session here. quickest out there, 1:37.43. Nathan Norman just flying along at the moment. Have a look at Justin McLean coming up on the top of Lukey Heights there. See what he's able to do. And Norman going to come across the line. We'll see what's improvement for him. Not quite there. 1:38.4. So a little bit of time left on the cards there for him to work his way through.
I see Ryan Robson in the background just getting a little bit of a draft. Not a bad way to be for Ryan. Maybe it's a good way to sit behind someone who's so fast out front and just try and get your feel for where you need to be on the track. A little bit of a draft as well. And looks like War Boys partner of crime is, as you can see, the Ashburrell got the same livery on board. So in another one of the Audis, just having a look down here. Tim Gracie's joining us too. Like we said, we had him on earlier. He's got the damaged wing. Richard Borello joining us in the series, just in the pits at the moment. Have a look. Matty Burns is back. Territory boy who gets around with the go-karting and involves himself in a lot of motorsport. They're all thanks to Electric NT. He was recently, I think he was down at Phillip Island for the bikes. So good to see he's got back. And mate, a couple of seasons ago, he lost the shifter, just came off the kitchen table where it was bolted to. So he's one that doesn't normally run the big sim rig.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem, isn't it? When the old shifter comes off the kitchen bench, it's been good to have a look through all the various people who've joined us throughout the years of running the series to see the different setups of who's running what and how they're doing it. Yeah, we go from running off a kitchen bench or off a couple of milk crates right through to the top of top, which I'm sure Paul Mansell has an air conditioned sim rig by now.
Oh, mate, he's got a whole room just dedicated. It's just got one fridge full of vodka cruisers.
The cruiser vending machine.
It's got a cruiser vending machine. That's it. That's all he's got.
Oh, fantastic livery for Paul Mansell and Guy Leach this year, the teammates. I think their cars look absolutely great as we jump on board there with the number 46, the Hyundai Elantra in the TCR of Guy Leach, the number 46. It's the cool drive on board with those guys, and Paul Mansell, he obviously does a whole lot of designs for people all throughout the iRacing platform, and he always performs and delivers a fantastic looking livery. So good to see the two boys jumping back on board for the 2022 series, thanks to Shannons Motoring Insurance. And we jump back on board with the number 515, John Vanry, in one of the Audi. The Audis, the most popular cars here. For the TCR.
It seems to be the car of choice. I wasn't surprised to see a few Hyundai Elantras out there. They've been quite fast. I suppose in real life, the Hyundai's getting very, very quick. The Honda Civic Type R's don't seem to be as popular throughout the series. Not quite sure if there's any sort of problem with them when they get out on the track. Maybe people's preference there, or whether it's just the fact that the people don't like the look of them. But yeah, they don't seem to be the big popular one. So if you're a Honda Civic Type R driver, just win, and that will really annoy the rest of the competition.
And that's the interesting thing about this series. I think I mentioned it earlier on, is that you've got one car basically. So obviously there's a choice of two cars with the V8 series, either a Holden or Ford, but there's three cars to pick from when it comes to the TCR. So there's the Hyundai, there's the Honda, and then there's the Audi. And once you pick the first car, if you choose to change to another car, it basically means that you're having to take on a 30-second penalty, so really not worthwhile in the grand scheme of things, and may end up affecting your overall series results. So you really want to make sure that you've done your testing and tuning leading up to the series, and you know exactly which car you want to jump into, and you've done some testing across some tracks to make sure that it's really what you're solid on.
Good to see Timmy Nicol joining us out there as he's jumped onto the social media, put a bit of a comment up there. Hope he's going right up in Darwin, and we know he takes a lot of photography across a few of the series out there when it comes to iRacing, and in real life motorsport photography, a man that is very well accomplished behind the lens. And you'll see he's watching us from the Northern Territory, I assume. I know we've got Zdenek Radomski watching out there as he's packing to go away. Got the big screen up, got it cast to the TV, so everyone can watch it out there on the broadcast. Hope you are enjoying it out there, as we do see a few new names. I'm just going to select someone here, and I just thought he might have gone in the pits there for a second. He went out with the Black Hawk Racing guys. Dean Power now getting around the Hyundai Elantra. Currently sitting there in 19th fastest there with a time of 1:38.527. So just 1 second off the pace there for Nathan Norman, and I have seen him in a couple of series now, Nathan Norman, when it comes to the iRacing, and very, very well accomplished behind the wheel. Keeps a fairly cool, calm head too when it comes to racing. So if he can get himself up the front here, I think that'll be a very good advantage. The difference is going to be when they have to step out of these cars, like when you get into a GT3 car or a TCR car, you've got the ABS. You know, the cars obviously respond a bit better, a little bit slower, I suppose, to the TCRs around some of these corners, but they respond a little bit better with the more modern style suspension. Whereas the supercars, well, they're a bit like a taxi there. You've really got to be gentle on them as you take them around the track here at Phillip Island. And there's going to be some questionable corners, I'm going to say.
Definitely.
There will be, but to be fair, I mean, the supercar for the current generation, at least anyway, is a lot more drivable than what we've traditionally seen with the VF and the Falcon. So, you know, it will not be a massive change as we see Deep Power just have a moment there in Siberia. It won't be as big a difference as you think, but going away from ABS to a vehicle that doesn't have it does play a fair trick on the mind. And I know for myself personally, I've been struggling trying to get the mindset right after Daytona 24-hour earlier in the year, now still getting ready for the Sebring 12-hour in the GT cars, then switching over to supercar. It really does your head in, especially when you go from being able to brake as late as you can in those types of cars, and especially the TCR, to having to roll the weight of the supercar around. You don't have the aero aids that we've got on these TCRs and GT cars now.
Yeah, it is going to be. Yeah, look, I just can't drive any of them. That's really what it comes down to. I suppose when you're not accomplished at this, driving the supercars is very, very difficult compared to getting into one of these cars, is what I'm trying to say. So for those that sit there and have the time and the skills, I'm sure they can jump between them. But I think the TCR cars where we're going to see probably the difference in, I suppose, skill level when it comes to iRacing will probably be a lot closer together. Whereas the supercars, I think we'll see a bit more distance in the parity, I suppose, across all of the drivers. We get on board with Sean Norris, who, like we say, is just doing this all arms, it's all controls on the steering wheel. Paralympian, and he competed in 2008, 2012. He's got a gold medal for Australia, mate. Like, what do we say about that? Who else in the series has that?
Look, I was going to try and make something up pretty quick there, but yeah, look, I don't have one at all. But no, it's great to have him on board, and to your point about the racing and not being able to do this very well, Matty, I think there's a reason a number of years ago there was a microphone thrown in front of the pair of us.
Oh, there's a very good reason that it was thrown in front of the pair of us, yes. It wasn't for our driving ability.
No, that's exactly right. I'm looking forward to, because I'm having a look around as we're bouncing between these cars here. There's a lot of work gone into liveries, and you know, when you start to talk about we're going to have the award this year for best livery, and thinking back to last year, so our winner last year, we had two best liveries. We had the Holden and the Ford livery. Now, Dylan Sates, fantastic looking car last year in the Ford Mustang, and you know, well-deserved win with the best livery. But I think my favourite, and it was well-deserved that the Holden livery won, Shane Nuance. He came out with the Paul's Iced Coffee livery, and it looked absolutely fantastic, and he took out the win. And you know, I'm having a look through each one, and even the NTE series, the official ones that Jake Burgess and Dylan Sates are running this year, they look so great. I mean, Shane Nuance, he's just popped up on screen now in the Audi, and he's having a little bit of a moment as he goes through the corners there. But you know, he's changed up his livery again this year and doing a great job. So it's going to be a tough competition to judge this year, I think.
Look, we don't have to do it. That's the best thing. We do not have to do the judging. We just have to talk about what happens on track. 2 minutes left in qualifying at the moment here, all thanks to Pecky's performance and Dyno tuning at the Shannons Insurance NTE Series of 2022. It's round number 1 to kick things off at Phillip Island. As you can see, Shane Ewan's up there on the screen at the moment coming through. But yeah, we have 45 cars here, and Josh Drage has joined us in the server now. This guy here, what can I say? There was moments throughout our first 2 series where we joked about him doing the qualifying laps with Jakey Burgess, because he used to share a house with him. They were roommates. And this guy can drive as well. He's come very late in the session. I'm interested to see whether he can just get a time down and maybe work his way through the field. But I'll be interested to see when he comes supercar time, what he actually does. Hasn't put a lap in yet. Remembering as they get around to these in qualifying, if they somehow go to the outer limits of the track, or they have an off an incident, it null and voids a lap. So if they're on an absolutely flying lap, just put a wheel too far off, get the car off all the way onto the grass, maybe they make contact with the car, that will null and void that qualifying lap. So that's the bit of the difference between racing, I suppose. Remembering that we do get incident points as they go along, and we'll get a fast repair when it comes to racing as it gets a bit of a shunt.
I think that'll be an incident point there, Matty Cav. But
yeah, maybe a couple.
It's a great point to bring up. You know, when you think about this, you're trying to put together your best lap as you get around here. And a track like Phillip Island, you know, you've got some really tight corners that you want to still try and hold a lot of speed through, but it's quite easy to, especially in the supercars, you know, drop a wheel off the side and spin the car around or anything like that. You have an incident point and all of a sudden you've lost your lap. So all the work that you've put together, it's why sometimes when you see the qualifying sessions come together and you see the guys putting their qualifying laps together and you don't see a time pop up ever, it's just that the driver might be pushing themselves that hard that they can't actually get a lap together because they keep dropping a wheel off here or there. So it is that fine line to walk of, you know, putting together your best lap and really throwing the car in there to try and get yourself to the top end of the qualifying ladder, but making sure that you don't, you know, have that sort of slip off the track.
So the chance to get out there and qualify has ended. So every car will be on this final lap. This will be the last chance they got now. I'm just looking here, and it's looking like some good sector times here for Damon Mulqueen. Maybe he can go from P2 to P1. Nathan Norman already in the pit. That 1:37.428 has stuck there for a long time in this Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tune qualifying session. We'll just stay on board for a second. Damon Mulqueen's probably going to be the closest one. We've still got Callan Gear out there as well. It looks like he's dropped off the pace. He might have gone back in the pit now. He has. So last couple of cars, Blake Warboys are still out on track, but times aren't looking favourable there. Not looking favourable, but like you say, Dan, how close are they in the top 10?
Well, super close at the moment. Like our top 10 for us here, 0.6 of a second are covering it. I think Mulqueen might have got just a bit of an advantage there coming across the line. Just picked up the draft at the back end of the lap there. Unfortunately, didn't improve his position. So he'll be coming off the front row of the grid along with Nathan Norman at the moment. But 0.6 covering these guys, like that's nothing when you think about it over a 20-minute or a 30-minute qualifying session.
No, you can see there the gap between them as they go down. Nathan Norman still holding on to that 1:37.428. Just a couple more cars on track to finish this lap. Sean Norris is still out. He's pulled in the pits there. We'll get on with Sean Norris there and see if he's going to complete this lap. I'm just having a look at the time. It looks like there might be something in it. No, it's slowing down now. So all the cars starting to slow down. Looks like our qualifying session is run and done. I don't think we're going to see too many more cars challenge here. I'm just checking to see if any of them still on a bit of a run. Doesn't look like it. Looks like that might be how our qualifying session is going to end. You see Nathan Norman right up the top there. Damon Mulqueen's going to come in second. Callan Gear in third. Jack Widders in fourth. Blake Warboys in fifth. Guy Leach in sixth. Paul Mansell, his teammate, right behind him in seventh. Kevin Norman in eighth. Justin McLean in ninth. And Cameron Edwards rounds out our top 10. Our fearless leader, Jakey Burgess, the number 100, just outside in 11. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. I'm just waiting to see. The last couple of cars are going to pull in for this session, and then we will go to a short break while we change over there. Let's check out some of the results here from our qualifying. Let's have a look at them. All right, so we go run through them once again there. Of course, it's Nathan Norman there, that 1:37.428. Not far behind was Damon Mulqueen. Callan Gear right behind there. You can see it's just under 1/10 of a second. Jack Widders in fourth. Blake Warboys in fifth. Guy Leach in sixth. Paul Mansell in seventh. Kevin Norman in eighth. It's Justin McLean in ninth. Cameron Edwards in 10th. Jakey Burgess in 11th. Craig Ansbach in 12th. Neil Woodburn's got 13th. Sean Norris, our wildcard entry, 14th. Ray Oliver in 15th. Ash Barella in 16th. Nathan Brown in 17th. James Balvins in 18th. Then we go Josh Drage back in 19th. Only got a couple of laps in there. Dean Powell in 20th. Michael Alkidis in 21st. Tyrone Anderson 22nd. James Zetz in 23rd. Darren Crosby 24th. Stephen Kennedy in 25th. Dylan Saints in 26th. Ryan Robson, or Deborah as we know him, in 27th. Simon Farrington in 28th. Bradley Minshall in 29th. Daniel Norris back in 30th. Michael Ladder 31st. Michael Gorse 32nd. Tommy Orton having a break back there in 33rd. 34th was Mitch Strzelecki, Matty Burns in 35th, Nick Sutton in 36th, Justin Kiter 37, Mark Peck in 38th, Tim Driscoll 39, Shane Ewens in 40th. Then we go back to John Van Ree, Tim Gracie, Richard Barella, and of course our safety cars ready to go there. So that looks like our qualifying is run in done for the TCR part of the NTE series, our first round here at Phillip Island. We're going to have a couple of words from our sponsors and we'll be back with you in just a second. Well, to get back there, our car's just getting warmed up as we get ready. A qualifying session is run and done, and we are not too far away from getting started with this race. There will be a little bit of a warm-up session as they get underway. Fantastic qualifying session there, and of course, no surprise, Nathan Norman up the top of the charts. The question is, who is going to take him on? Can Josh Drage, who only got a couple of laps in, can he come from a lot further back there to maybe challenge him as well? We've got Blake Warboys involved in that at the top of the list as well. So, I mean, what's your pick, Tegan? Anyone out there really sort of showing some interest, do you think can make it through the pack? We've got a 20-minute race, no pit stops.
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be quite interesting. I mean, you just said it perfectly there with Josh Drage starting back as far as he is. It's going to be interesting to see what he can pull together. And I guess that the start, when you look at that, that's where it's all important. Making sure that his start is all there, and he can actually make his way forwards as quickly as possible. And obviously, as people get started, especially in the iRacing, there's potential that, the guys don't get off the line as quickly as what they intended. And, if you get stuck behind a car like that, when you're someone like Josh starting back in 19th, it's potentially something that can make or break your race. Especially, I think when you think about the being a 20-minute race, how do you make yourself impactful in that 20 minutes to make sure you make up as many positions as possible? But it is a 5-round series for 2022, and it's there's a lot of racing to do here, and obviously the two different rounds. So, but yeah, I think Josh is going to be one to watch from that 19th position.
Well, you can see that the race face is on. We're going to check out Tyrone Anderson here just for a second. The race face is on. Look at that. He's good to go.
Oh, look at him. It's good to see that he actually put on some clothes. Obviously, we pre-warned him that there was going to be a webcam on him, and he chose not to race in his jocks. Obviously, the unique advantage of doing some virtual racing, you don't actually need to wear the full fireproof getup that you normally would if you're in a real race car. But it's great to see. Oh, as he throws a bit of a pick of the nose to really get himself prepped. Dan, anyone that's caught your eye so far in the qualifying session you think we could be looking out for from a mid-pack perspective?
Look, I think I'm still going to keep an eye on Sean Norris there. We saw him in 14th position through qualifying. The tricky thing for the guys, probably from that top 10 back, is going to be the opening lap. The congestion down through Doohan Corner into Southern Loop is going to be really tricky, and I think getting that section of the circuit right to begin with is what all these guys are going to need to focus on. We saw them doing just a little bit of a cheeky practice start to make sure they can get these cars off the line well. But the next big one will be the brake zone down into Honda hairpin. I mean, that we've seen plenty of big opportunities to get the passing done down there. Also seen some massive mistakes when you don't quite get it right. So that could play into contention. I think for the top half dozen cars or so, if we look back towards Guy Leach, so the top 3 rows, as long as they can get those cars off the line great to begin with, they're going to set themselves up for a really good chance to have a nice scrap for 20 minutes.
It's all going to come down to those first couple of corners. I think we're going to see some pretty hot-headed drivers get in there, and of course they should be. They need to really push that into the first corner and make a bit of a statement there, because you're going to carry that momentum then into the supercar qualifying as well. That's what it's about. You've got to get 2 races under your belt. Who will be a little bit more sedate maybe, just worry about getting the positions, and just get themselves there in the TCR race, get themselves some points, and whether they want to carry that over to the supercar, where their strengths are as well. I think we're going to find some drivers are going to be very well suited to the TCR car and may not carry that over to the supercar. So they really need to push in this race and really maximise the points, because they may not get them in the supercar race, where some of the drivers are going to be more suited to the supercar, so they may be just a little bit more sedate in this one, just want to get through, not try and get too many incident points, just get to the next race and really stamp their authority when it comes to that. But we'll have to wait and see as we get through, of course, our warm-up session there with a few minutes left to go, as they just get another chance to get around. Maybe they've gone for a break, see a lot of cars sitting in the pits. We're going to have a word from our sponsor back in just a second.
The Looking for an easy option for equipment or plant hire? Hire Power NT staff of over 40 years experience in the Territory and are now located in 3 convenient locations. With quality customer service and extensive product knowledge, why would you use anyone else? You'll find us in Yarrawonga, Winnelli and Katherine with the latest, most up-to-date equipment for the local tradie and DIY enthusiast. Call us today for all your equipment and plant hire needs. We've got it, or we'll get it.
The 2022 Shannons Insurance NTE Series is back with a new challenge, all thanks to our series sponsors. Shannons Insurance, Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning, Paul Mansell Photography, NP Style Signage and Graphics, Auto Inspections and Road Services NT, West Oz Roof Restorations, Higher Power NT, Pool Guys Adelaide, Pool Drive, and Maddicab Media. Well, we do know this is an NT-based series, of course, the NTE series, and one of the prizes we will be giving away, all thanks to the E&K Racing Crew, the number 26. They've got a couple of supercar giveaways, I suppose. One 3-day hot pass to the Darwin Supercars from the 17th and 19th of June. A private pit tour of the number 26 E&K Racing Improved production car as well. So all you have to do is share this post, like the E&K Racing Facebook page, and you're in the draw. So that's another fantastic prize we're giving away throughout the series as well, guys. So if you're up in Darwin, or you can look, it's an excuse to go to Darwin, really, to go to the Supercars. Yeah. What a fantastic event. The weather's supreme over there. It's winter everywhere else. It's the best weather you're ever going to get up there in Darwin. Supercars are on. They bring all the entertainment. I think they've got Top Fuel on this year as well. The concerts, everything it is. And E&K Racing are going to give away a free ticket.
How good. And, if you've never been to Darwin before, that is the perfect weekend to go because, if you've ever been to a V8 round, it's fantastic to go watch the event. But to go to the Darwin one, there's just, there's something so special about it. I think it's like any motorsports event across Australia. But, maybe a little bit of bias, being ex-NT. I just had a bit of an update from Tommy Orton that unfortunately Nick Sutton's computer's just completely died, so he will not be competing in tonight's event, which is a bit of a shame because always good to see Nick Sutton and Tommy Orton get out there and have a bit of fun. They the epitome of the series. They don't take it too seriously and generally put on a pretty decent burnout at the end of the show, Matty.
Oh, they always put on a good burnout. And look, I was a bit upset this year because I saw the livery and there was no beerbulance. We had the beerbulance last year when it came to Nick Sutton. No beerbulance this year.
No.
But I'm sure if the computer has crashed, that means that the beer is on.
And I've just asked Tommy Orton whether he's actually fueled up the generator this time around to actually make sure that he's going to make it through a full night. But he said he's actually moved, so he doesn't actually need to worry about that anymore. But Dan, it's quite a unique part of the series. Something you got to keep up with is all the personalities and all their challenges they go through. Tommy Orton, very famous for either getting too tired and wanting to go to bed, or running out of fuel in his generator that then his computer crashes mid-race. So it's quite an interesting series in itself.
Well, I'm looking forward to this. You guys are going to have to fill me in on all the quirks of the series because that getting to know the drivers, and I mean, we're fortunate in a few other series to really get to know the guys there, makes it all a lot more inviting, and you pick up those little tidbits that you never would hear in a normal race scenario.
That's exactly right.
All right, greeters getting ready now. We're not too far away from getting underway with our race for the TCR section of the NTE Series, round number 1 here at Phillip Island. 20-minute race, no compulsory pit stops. They should go start to finish. Just waiting for the lights to come up. As you can see, we are the yellow flag is out at the moment. All right, the cars are lining up on the grid. 45 cars to get underway. Well, maybe 44 now. We lost Sutto. That's a bit of a shame to lose Sutto. But let's see how we go. Nathan Norman starting off the front. Damon Mulqueen alongside Callan Gear and Jack Widdis on the second row. Blake Warboys and Guy Leach on the third row. On the fourth row is Paul Mansell and Kevin Norman. Fifth row is Justin McLean and Cameron Edwards. Jake Burgess and Craig Ansbash back in the sixth row. And here we go. Underway. Tyres smoke out and we go for this race. Let's have a go as they get down to the first corner. This one's going to be the interesting one, Dan.
Yeah, really good getaway from everyone early on. I did notice a car a little further back, caught my eye just before the lights went green, just jumping on the grid there. So we'll wait to see what race control will do with that one here. We've already got a car off wide down into Southern Loop there. he's just managed to sneak that one back in front there, and no major damage. But a great jump from Nathan Norman there. Callan Gear up into second. Damon Mulqueen dropped down into third position. We've got plenty of movement further down the field as the guys work their way up towards Stoner Corner and down into Honda Hairpin.
Yeah, they're going too wide. Oh, no, we've got a car off in the background. Just trying to see who that is dropping off our screen there. There's going to be there's a fair bit going on here. I'm just trying to see. Oh, mate, look, the event screen has just lit up. Everybody is happening here. I'm going to try and go back to see who that may be that went off track just before.
We had a couple there. It looks like Tyrone Anderson and Neil Woodburn had a bit of a moment there down into Honda Hairpin. We saw those cars off at the turn in there, and that was unfortunate for them. Looks like we've got a couple more cars off down at Siberia as well. I didn't catch who had just ducked off there, but looks like they're back underway now. We'll have a look at the replay to see what's going on.
Yeah, I'm just trying to have a look at this one here. It looks like this might be Damon Mulqueen, a bit of an off track, and might not be too much in this one, I'd say. It might just be getting a wheel off somewhere. Very interesting part, especially to come down the hill there. Covering off, nothing too much going on in that one, so we'll go back live.
But whatever it was, it has thrown him a fair way down the order now. It started out as second, back into fifth position now, so he hasn't really got away that well. I know he was trying to find grips with this car earlier on in the week, having a bit of a chat to him, and he's finding his way through. Paul Mansell down a spot in 8th position. Some of the big movers, though, Bradley Minshall up 8 spots from where he started. Matthew Burns, 9 spots up into 26th position. He's got a good getaway there. And Justin Cotter up 8 spots as well. So plenty of movement throughout the field in this opening lap.
It's the all-important thing as we have a look at the replay here as Cameron Edwards goes out a little bit wide there and managed to hold it together fairly well. But it's the thing that we talked about earlier on, right, is it's a 20-minute race, this TCR race. So it's all important to get yourself up to that top end of the ladder when it comes to your qualifying session. But even more important is that you hold it together in these opening laps and really don't lose any positions, because it's only a 20-minute race, so it's hard to actually be able to catch yourself back up once you've dropped off any position. So Cameron Edwards is a perfect example there. He's back there in 17th position, started in the top 10. So, he's dropped off a lot of positions, which means that he's potentially lost a lot of series points here. But we still have the V8 race that comes up later on, which means that, you can regain some of those positions. But, I guess vice versa when you look at it, boys, is that in a 20-minute race like this, in the TCR section where some of the guys might be a little bit more skilled in, you can also make up a lot of series points by getting up to the pointy end where some of the guys might drop off.
Definitely. And speaking of the pointy end there, we've got Jack Widders. I was just going to give him a big rap for the move down into turn 10 there. He's got himself all tied up, and that's a big move there on start-finish straight. Here's a look at the replay to see these two go off.
Yeah, they make contact here. You see Jack Widders, Cullen Gear. Oh, they're both off in the air. Widders is gone. Gear, I don't know where he's ended up, but that is a big off for them. That is a couple of contenders there that are getting taken out very early in the race. That's going to push them right down to the back.
Yeah, they've dropped a long way down as a result of that. So that'll put Mulqueen back now up into second position as well. So all that work we thought he was going to have to do to get his way back up, the seas are parted and he's called himself back into second. Justin McLean now into third.
Yeah, tough for those guys. They're both people who could have been, right up there in the race and unfortunately dropped right off. I'm actually just having a look through some positions here, and one interesting one to have a look at is Josh Drage, who has actually gone a lap down here. So I'm just trying to work backwards on my other screen to see if I can work out exactly what's happened with Josh. Might have been caught up in one of the early incidents that we've seen.
Yeah, I did see that a little bit early, Josh Drage, on our incident screen there, so I didn't quite grab that one, so very interesting to see what's happening there. As Guy Leach just going to the front here, Paul Mansell in 4th position at the moment there. And he's just might have got a position over his counterpart. Justin McLean is up 6 positions though in 3rd now, so that's 6 position move since the start of the race. That's a nice, good start from him. can see him getting around there in the Audi. Justin McLean, 6 positions, come from 9 up to 3rd. That's a good start. Paul Mansell's got a few. Guy Leach behind him. Craig Anspatch back there as well. Getting a nice little run now. He's catching up on the back of the Cool Drive cars. You never know. Putting the pressure on the Guy Leach as well. He's getting a nice turn to that one there. Gone with the Honda Civic Type R, like we said, might upset the majority, I suppose. I shouldn't really say that, because sitting at the top is a Honda Civic. Actually sitting in the Honda, nice and pretty up the front. Craig Anspatch on board. You can see as they come down to the corner. Cool Drive cars split it there. Oh, sideways, there's that Mansell there. Gets the car loose a bit too. Anspatch with a nice run here. Can he get him? I think he might.
It's going to be a tough ask to go the long way around Siberia, but Mansell's one of these drivers as well we need to keep an eye on in the supercar, Matt. We know how strong he was in the AOSC for the last few seasons. He'll be one to keep a fair eye on coming forward for this one as well, but he's just settled in now behind. Is that looks like Nathan Brown actually getting the move up ahead of him. So he actually lost a spot in that little transaction. He's got to be careful though, because Jake Burgess right in on the hot seat. We'll wait to see whether he has a dive down off Leaky Heights and a little bit of contact.
It's all happening. Look at him go. Craig Anspatch there. Jake Burgess not far behind. Then it's James Bowvines. Blake Warboys just in behind, so he's dropped back a few as well. It's Nathan Brown just in front. We go on board with him. Not much between them there. Nathan Brown's doesn't have Craig Anspatch too far behind him. Look at this. It's just over a second really between 4 cars at the moment. Now we're talking with that. We're talking 6th position back to 9th position there, just over 1 second.
Plenty of time for those guys to make up that little bit of time down on the front straight there, but surprisingly, we've not got anyone going off down through turn 2. That's been a really tricky spot for these guys in the opening few laps here as well tonight. We've seen plenty of guys off there and getting that one working quite nicely. Just keeping an eye too on Sean Norris. Unfortunately for him, not the getaway he would have wanted tonight, down 16 positions, and he's currently circulating down in 30th position now.
Yeah, another little battle going on for P14 now. Ryan Robson just holding out Dylan Sates at the moment. You can see there, Sates, he has a bit of a dive in the NT Eseries Honda Civic. Doesn't quite get it done. Ryan Robson doing a nice job holding on to that 14th position at the moment. And of course, he is up 13 positions from the start. So what a fantastic start from him.
Yeah, doing very, very well. Just keeping the wheels under the Audi there and pressing on. Blake Warboys, keep having a look at him now, up into 8th position. He's got Jake Burgess just in front of him as well. A couple of Hondas and Audis all mixing it up. Surprising just how good the balance of performance that iRacing been able to get with all these cars. There's no real sort of clear advantage that we're seeing so far.
No one's really just gone out in front of them, have they? I mean, Nathan Norman led from the start. He's opened up a little bit of a gap, 1.4 seconds, but he's had to work hard for that one there, but probably the clean air has helped him. Just have a look down the field, there's plenty of little battles going on here. And I think Matty Burns needs to watch out. Is he getting a move done, or has he had a move done on him? I'm just having a quick look here. Mitch Strzelecki there just behind him. Cullen Year's gone by, so he's fighting back after that earlier off-track incident there where he went right off there with Jack Widders and just working his way back through the pack. Tyron Anderson back in 27th at the moment, and you can see there that looks like that might be Sean Norris working the way through in the number 7 there. Gets the move done too, manages to go by and gets another position. Mr. Strzelecki there, just sitting in P18 at the moment. So looking to see if he can make another couple of positions up. He's at the moment, he's up 16 position as well. So quite a few cars have dropped off. There's been some incidents, giving some of these back runners who didn't quite get through the chance to make their way through.
Yeah, a lot of these guys really starting to capitalise on that at the moment. Just looking at our pace from all their drivers out there at the moment, we saw in qualifying down in the low 137s. We're back in the mid 138s at the moment. So the guys just trying to preserve the tyres. Hard to believe we're almost 10 minutes through this 20-minute race one already, and the racing's been pretty hotly contested so far.
Yeah, there's quite a few battles going on. You can see Tyron Anderson going to be right in the middle now between Sean Norris and Mark Peck just behind. Of course, the Pecky's performance in Dyno Tune qualifying session was away earlier, and he's out there in the middle of the pack now in P29, Marcus. We'll just have to wait to see what those grippy socks can do. He might have slipped off the pedals there for just a second, but I'm sure he'll change socks between servers.
I think he's even added some grip tape to the pedals to make sure that he's got full traction when he's sitting in the seat.
He's going to need it. That's all I'm going to say. Didn't he just sell a seat on Marketplace? I think I saw it up there, slightly used.
Worn it out already, has he?
Yeah, I think he's worn it out already. You can see James Zetz and Darren Crosby now in a little bit of a battle here. They're not too far apart. Just in front too, you can see Tim Gracie just holding on to that nice little white Audi just in front, seeing what he can do. This one's a nice little three-way battle pack though. As you can see, James Zetz. Going to go back now to Darren Crosby and Simon Farrington. Let's bring up the battle pack here and see how far apart they are. Look at this. We might have a lap car actually in here. That might be what I'm seeing because 2.2 seconds further back. Yeah, there's a bit of a gap there. We've got someone in between there. That's one of the lap cars. That's all that is. The lap cars coming through. So we always expect that. We didn't expect them to get lapped actually this far into to what was the start of the Shannons Insurance NTE Series TCR section of the racing. Of course, 20-minute race. We've got 8 minutes 34 remaining in this. Who is going to be the first TCR winner when it comes to the NTE Series? All thanks to Shannons Insurance. Great to have them back on board once again for the third season. We love being involved with Shannons Insurance, and we love to definitely get that brand out there. Don't forget 134242 if you want to find out about all your insurance needs. And of course, there is another competition this year, as they always do for Shannons Insurance, and we'll let you know the details very, very shortly.
Yeah, having a look back further in the field, there's actually 5 cars that are 1 lap down. So obviously those early race incidents that we've seen, on lap 1 in the first few corners, caught a few of the guys out, and there's some names in here who you would sort of expect to see a little bit further up the field. So definitely caught out, obviously, Josh Drage, who we were talking about a little bit earlier on today. Michael Halkitis, another one who could throw together some real good top 10 finishes, and he's now a lap down and at the tail end of the field. Unfortunately, Tommy Orton back there with him, as well as Ray Oliver and Richard Barella. So, a few of the guys, unfortunately, going a lap down in this opening race. I think, boys, it's going to be quite interesting to see as well whether we get the same winners across both sections or not. I mean, Nathan Norman obviously sitting at the top end of the field right now with Mulqueen in behind him and McLean, but Guy Leach, it's just outside the top 3. Paul Mansell in 7th. So those guys are who we're sort of expecting to see really perform throughout the entire NTE series. But it'll be interesting to see whether we share a lot of different winners throughout the 2 sections and across the entire series.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would be a fair one to keep an eye on. Just saw Tyron Anderson just having a moment there down off Stoner Corner there, able to pull that car back into line at Honda. But probably for our supercar guys, the main ones we need to really keep a strong eye on. We know Mulqueen will be quick coming into that one. Guy Leach, who is quick in pretty much everything that he turns his attention to. Paul Mansell, another one. Craig Ansbach and Blake Warboys, very, very competitive in these supercars as well. So keep an eye on those guys, especially as we get our way into race number 2. We've got 7 minutes left on the clock though, and they're not really that far apart, 1 and 2. They've put a bit of distance now on Justin McLean, however.
Yeah, I am liking these little battle packs that are going on at the moment. I did notice that, of course, a bit earlier on, Ryan Robson's just opened up a little bit of a gap over Dylan Sates, where they did have that sort of battle going on a little bit earlier as we check in with Paul Mansell back to P7 thereafter. He got a little bit sideways earlier on. Blake Warboys managed to get himself into 5th position. He's still chasing down Guy Leach though, just in front. Needs to watch out behind him though. Nathan Brown looks like he's closing that gap up. This one's going to be another one of those little battle packs starting at Guy Leach. Probably goes about 4 cars there. Just got himself a little bit of room there. He can be a little bit more comfortable there. We'll check out the gap between them just now as it comes up on screen. You go just under 0.8 of a second there back to Blake Warboys, half a second then back to Nathan Brown, then we go back to Paul Mansell there, just under 4/100 of a second, 4/10 of a second, sorry. So those 4 very, very close together. That one's going to be a good little battle unfolding between these 4 cars at the moment, all battling out for 4th position. Of course, our top 3 there look like they've just sort of moved away at the moment. Nathan Norman's still leading, so let's check in with our leader and see exactly what's going on. He's got a nice little lead out in front there. It's Damon Mulqueen's just chipping away at the New Zealander. He's in the background. He's showing himself in those mirrors there. So Nathan Norman needs to probably be a little bit concerned at this stage with 4 or just under 5 minutes left to go. There is time. He seems to be making up a little bit of ground on every lap. That was out to 1.5 seconds earlier, but he's getting in there. Justin McLean now comfortably in 3rd position there. but he is 4 seconds back.
Looking at the timing and scoring, our top two at the moment are the only guys still in the 138s as well. It was almost identical times for them as they crossed the line. 138.97 for Norman, 138.93 for Mulqueen. So they're matching each other pace by pace here, just working their way through.
Yeah, we can watch it up there, the little battle pack there, all thanks to the pool guys. Adelaide, of course, your complete pool care. If you're down in South Australia, go check them out, the pool guys. Good to have them on board for our season number 3 of the Shannons Insurance NTE Series. We are in our race now for the TCR, 4 minutes remaining, and it is Nathan Norman leading us from start to finish. He started out of P1, he is still in P1. Damon Mulqueen didn't get the start he wanted, but he's still in position 2. That's where he started. Then we go back to Justin McLean, who's made 6 positions up to be in 3rd position at the moment. There's our top 3 in this race so far. Under 4 minutes left remaining means we're going to have about 3 or 4 laps to go, and it's hovering around that 8 tenths of a second at the moment between these two cars. You can see he goes through just comfortably holding off Damon at the moment. We'll wait and see whether he gets a move made on him very shortly.
Matty, further back down in the field, there is a bit of a battle going on here between Blake Warboys and Guy Leach. They've just swapped that 4th and 5th position a couple of times, back and forwards, and just on one of the corners, Warboys got right up alongside Guy Leach and really had a look under him, but couldn't quite get the job done. So the race really heating up down the mid pack of the top 10. So this is exciting to watch. You know, everywhere you look, there's something going on. As we have a look now, as Warboys has a look underneath him, gets the job done, holds him out. Let's see if Guy Leach can put anything back and try and get that position back. But Warboy's doing a great job there, just held it out and got the job done nice and clean. So yeah, only a few laps left to go here. See if Guy Leach can pull back that position.
Yeah, Leach will be looking to make the move down into Honda. He's got a nice run out of that out of the Sona corner there. Warboy's well awake to it though, parks it down the inside, and Leach is trying for the little crisscross manoeuvre, but keep an eye on this as it works its way back around through the course of the lap. I wouldn't mind betting Leach is going to have another throw here over the top of Lukey Heights. If he can't make it stick down off the front straight, he'll return serve as quick as possible.
And Dan, what a good situation they're in right now. Clean air in front of them. They're not right in the thick of any sort of lap traffic or other people they're having to contend with. It's really their race to do what they need to do here and really match it up. So you see the race get really interesting in the later stages when you start to come up on the back of lap traffic, and as you're trying to make moves, you can get caught up by someone else and give someone else the advantage. But this really comes down to the driver capability and knowing the strategies.
Absolutely, and what we're watching is this sort of little 4-car split that we were watching has sort of separated a bit now. As we see Paul Mansell just having a moment there on the grass, having a look at Craig Anspach and Jake Burgess coming onto the start-finish. They were getting right into their own little scrap as well. Warboys, though, has been able to put a bit of distance between himself and Guy Leach now, and Nathan Brown's going to bring himself into contention here to see whether he can have a crack also.
Yeah, keeps going on further down the pack. See James Balvins there is in a bit of a scrap now, and he needs to watch what he's doing. Kevin Norman just out in front in the flat-out car to entry. Then it goes back to James Balvins. Cameron Edwards and Callan Gear, who's had to fight his way back after an early off-track incident. But Kevin Norman there in 10th position. He's down 2. He started out of 8. He's probably got himself just enough distance, maybe. James Balvin's under a whole lot of pressure right now, though.
Yeah, wow, you just see it all really start to heat up at the tail end of the race, don't you? I mean, having a look here, we don't have, I think it might even be the last lap. Just trying to have a look on my screen here. Yep, time remaining, 30 seconds, so not much left in this one at all, and we're really starting to see the race heat up throughout the entire pack. And quite interesting to see the top 10 really hasn't changed too much. So this could be a bit of a series setup when you talk about the rest of the 5 rounds that we have here for the NTE series, thanks to Shannons Motoring Insurance.
I reckon our leader's going to get across the line before it times out. We will get one more lap in. You can see him going across the line now. This is our battle for 1 and 2. Mulqueen's caught right up. It looks like they get past the start-finish line, so we will head on to the last lap now. So final lap of the first TCR race as part of Season 3 of the 2022 Shannons Insurance NTE Series. As they come round Mulqueen, can he get the job done? That's what we're waiting to find out. He's currently leading from start to finish. Malqueen's had to follow him the whole way off the dirty side of the grid when they started things alongside. It's not much between them two. We're talking just 0.2 of a second here as they head down into the corner. Malqueen's just not quite there. He's going to have a dive here. We'll have to wait and see. Can't get it done, can he, Dan?
Just a little too far away to make that move, but hasn't he done well to pull down the time? When we caught this battle with about 5 minutes to go, it was 0.8 of a second there. They're going to come up potentially to a little bit of lap traffic here towards the back end of this race. So work their way now out of Siberia. The next chance for Malqueen's going to be up over the top of Lukey Heights here. And I don't know whether he's quite close enough to send one up the inside there, but he's definitely applying the pressure beautifully.
Yeah, he's not going to let him get away. Nathan Norman really needs to keep his foot on the gas. The last few corners to get through. Just has to make sure he doesn't do any mistakes under brakes. Malqueen's going to take advantage of whatever he can.
Yeah, parked beautifully in the middle of the track on the run down, and nice drive out to set himself up here. I don't think Malqueen's going to get close enough through the final turn to mount a challenge here across the line.
No, as it looks like they're going to come round the final corners. Come across the start finish line, and here we go. It looks like we're going to get a winner out of our first ever TCR, and it's of course going to be Nathan Norman in the Honda Civic. Seconds across the line as well, Damon Malqueen in the Hyundai Elantra, and then we go back to third, who's been sitting there on his own most of the race. Justin McLean gets through. Our top three as they start to head through. The checkered flags come up. Guy Leach, Blake Warboys managed to get himself up into fourth position. Nathan Brown in fifth. Guy Leach ended up in sixth position. Paul Mansell in seventh. Craig Anspatch got through past Jakey Burgess into eighth. Jake back to ninth. Kevin Norman in 10th. Cameron Edwards in 11th there. As you can see, Callan Gear managed to get himself into 12th position. That was a great fight back, considering he had a very early incident there before with Jack Widdis, and that sort of pushed them off the track there, and they had to fight their way back through the field.
Yeah, tough race in when you consider the overall series standards. With someone like Josh Drage falling way back in the pack, there's a number of other names. With Tim Gracie, Tyrone Anderson, even Mark Peck. There's a lot of people who have ended up down the back end of the field who probably would have been preferring to be a lot higher and get those all-important series points, but unfortunately not quite getting the job done. But great work there. Nathan Norman leading this one from green to checker. Damon Malqueen definitely showing his form at the tail end of that race and really starting to put the pressure on Nathan Norman, which no doubt Norman would be very well aware of. Justin McLean, a great job finishing out that top three with Blakey Warboys just outside the top three. And boys, that was a fantastic race with lots of action the whole way through. And if that is what the series is going to be about, I'm looking forward to the rest of the rounds.
Mate, we've still got a supercar race to go. So that's our TCR race done. We've still got a supercar race to go. Let's check out all the results for you who are watching us on the live stream at home. If you want to get through and see everything, not scrolling through, we'll give you a chance to go through the final results here of the first ever TCR race as part of the Shannons Insurance NTE Series. Season number 3 here in 2022. And like we say, our top three, no surprise, only 0.2 of a second between him and Dame Malcolm. We saw how close it was over the start-finish line. Then we head back to, obviously, Justin McLean, who was sort of just on a race on his own there, 8 seconds behind the leaders. And then back, Blake Warboys was another couple of seconds back. Now, he's been very, very quick, we saw in the supercar in the practice session. So I think that might be his stronger car. Nathan Brown managed 5th place. Guy Leach got pushed back into 6th. Paul Mansell in 7th. Craig Anspatch in 8th. And Jake Burgess, he was in front of Craig Anspatch, but couldn't hold him out there in the latter part of the race. Ended up in 9th position. Kevin Norman in 10th. Then we go back to the field. You can see some of the names there. Jack Widdis managed to work his way back through there, obviously in 15th position. That was a tough one for him as well after they had that collision with Callan Gear. That was very unfortunate, and we thought they were probably going to be some of the lead drivers that may challenge some of the other people there. Just having a look here, Stephen Kennedy ended up in 21st, Dean Power 22nd. Shane Ewan's back in 23rd. Nick Sutton must have got himself fixed. Tegan, he's in 24th.
Yeah, that's I must have been given false information there. Tommy Orton might be doing a little stitch up on me, which he's very well known to do. But no, he it did look like his computer had not fared well, but obviously he was able to get it back through. So good to see that he actually made it out there. Matty Burns finishing in just behind him, then back to Darren Crosby. Mark Peck finishing in 27th position, which I'll sure to be let him know tomorrow. Tyrone Anderson finishing in 28th, back to Sean Norris, our wildcard entry, finishing in 29th. Started out very strong in that race and unfortunately dropped back a bit. Then back to James Zeitz in 30.
Yeah, what I like about this is a safety car, and the race control did not have to come. Of course, 24/7 race control working behind the scenes to make sure everything's going. No penalties given out in that one. That is our results for the TCR race to start things off for the NTE series. Of course, we do have to change servers now and get to the different race server so we can get into the supercars. So, ladies and gentlemen, please take a word from our fantastic sponsors, and we'll be back with you very, very shortly as we kick off race number 2 here for the NTE series. We'll be qualifying for the supercars, all thanks to Shannons Insurance.
Looking for an easy option for equipment or plant hire? Hire Power NT staff of over 40 years experience in the Territory and are now located in 3 convenient locations. With quality customer service and extensive product knowledge, why would you use anyone else? You'll find us in Yarrawonga, Winnellie and Katherine with the latest, most up-to-date equipment for the local tradie and DIY enthusiast. Call us today for all your equipment and plant hire needs. We've got it, or we'll get it.
The 2022 Shannons Insurance NTE Series is back with a new challenge, all thanks to our series sponsors. Shannons Insurance, Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning, Paul Mansell Photography, NP Style Signage and Graphics, Auto Inspections and Road Services NT, West Oz Roof Restorations, Higher Power NT, Pool Guys Adelaide, Cool Drive, and Maddicap Media.
Welcome to round 1 of the Shannons NTE Supercar Series tonight from Phillip Island. We've jumped on board the Porsche 992 for a lap around this circuit and make our way down in towards turn 1. It's a 6th gear entry, pit exit just on the outside here tonight. Drop the car back to 5th gear, float your way through the apex and up in towards the mid-track for the run through Southern Loop. Drag the brake all the way through here, get the nose in early and set yourself up for a nice run off. Watch the wheel spin as you make your way up through to turn 3. Stoner corner, which is a nice flat corner. A little bit of understeer for the supercar to work its way through, but then into turn 4 for Honda hairpin. Big braking opportunity here, plenty of overtakes to come. On exit, manage the wheel spin. Get the wheel spin right, get the run in towards Siberia, and again, aim for a late apex of the corner. Get the apex nice, as we see the Porsche work its way out, up through turn 7 and 8, past the hay shed. It's looking like a really good run here so far. A little bit of curb on entry as we work our way down through turn 8. Position the car back in towards the mid-track for turn 9 as we make our way up over the top of the hill through Lukey Heights. Big braking opportunity down into turn 10. Plenty of lock brakes to come, and on exit, a quick short shift of the car, keep the throttle managed as you look after the wheel spin here. Float the car back out to the outside of the circuit through turn 10. Pick up your apex early for turn 12. Got to kiss the curb on the inside there. Keep the throttle all the way on. Power across the start-finish line to set the lap here. You do get a quick breather here across the Bass Straight, but we're looking forward to a big one from the guys tonight.
Please welcome our motorsport chaplain, Adam Bergen, to say a few words.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you that we're able to return to racing and continue to grow this community. Thank you for everyone who has been involved in organising the series. We bring Keelan and the Peck family before you. Surround them all with a sense of your peace and love during this challenging and stressful time. Thank you for the healing so far and the progress that Keelan is making. Please continue to guide the medical staff that are working with him. We also pray for those people impacted by flooding in Queensland and New South Wales, as well as those affected by the growing conflict in the Ukraine. Many of us cannot comprehend the devastation and suffering being experienced, but help us to find ways to care and support for those affected. Finally, I pray for the participants in today's race. May they find joy in what they are doing and connection to the people they are racing with. We ask this in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remove your hats and be upstanding for the Australian National Anthem. Well, welcome back to Phillip Island. And of course, we have changed servers over in our qualifying session now for the supercars. I'm Matty Cav, joined back by Tegan Peck and Daniel Leet. We're back in the commentary box. Great to have all the sponsors back on for the 2022 series. Of course, a number of familiar ones you can see, MP Style Signage and Graphics. Of course, Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning. A qualifying session is underway right now. So let's check them out where they've ended up. We've had a couple of minutes to do some laps out there, and Blake Warboys is up there, number 1, which we did see earlier in the practice sessions. No surprise there. And the moment we put them on screen, you know they're going to get into the pits. A 1:28.776 though. Are they going to... that's not too bad a time. We might see that get shaved down a little bit. Kevin Norman there in 5th position at the moment. You can see just getting around on screen. But plenty going on, boys. The qualifying session's underway. It's a big one. 30 minutes, 25 minutes still remaining in this one.
Yeah, Josh Drage up where we expected him to see in the opening session. Obviously joining a little bit late there for the TCR session. But, you know, he gets out there early on with, 24 minutes left to run of this this qualifying session. He's already sitting up there in 2nd position. Blake Warboys sitting there in 1st with a 1:29.776. Damon Mulqueen sitting in 3rd. Craig Anspach in behind them in 4th, and 5th is Kevin Norman. So starting to rack them and stack them and see where they're going to be for the 40-minute race that we have here for the V8s. And Dan, how good's it going to be to watch this?
Well, I think it's a bit of an Australian rite of passage, really, Phillip Island. It's one of those synonymous Australian circuits, similarly to Bathurst. But for the guys here, they've done countless hours around this circuit. They should know it like the back of their hands. And we're already starting to see that with some regular guys up towards the pointy. And as you said, Blake Warboys, we sort of thought that he would be one to come up towards the pointy end. Mulqueen's up there, Anspach is up there. Guys that are very comfortable in these supercars, and they're getting on with what they need to do in order to set themselves up for a good qualifying result.
Yeah, it's good to see Josh Drage. We've talked him up with the TCR car, and look, there's no way to sugarcoat it. It was below average, I suppose. Below average. So we'll have to wait and see what Josh Drage can do in the supercar. Normally he qualifies pretty good for Jake Burgess, but I don't know how he's going to qualify in 2 cars for one series. You think they're sharing a room again? They can swap sims?
Surely. You'd have to think so.
You'll love hearing that, Jakey, won't he? I'm sure we'll be fired by round number 2. It's good to see, though, that everyone has made it out back on track. Looks like most of the cars have rejoined the supercar session. If you know why I went to a bit of a break, it was good to catch up with the chaplain too. Thanks to Adam Bergen there for putting some words together for us. And, of course, this competition with Mark Peck being so involved with Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning, of course, your brother, his son, come into a few issues recently with a bit of an accident there, and of course racing Keelan Peck, keep fighting, and looks like he is on the mend. So big shout out there to Keelan Peck and family and Nyla and the kids, and hopefully all is going really well. And it's great that the chaplain put a few kind words together for us to put in the ceremony here today. And look, let's hope everything goes well there. I'm sure Mark's going to be out there. Hopefully, if he wins a race tonight, I'm sure he'll dedicate it to Keelan. We just need to get him to win a race.
that's the more challenging piece at this stage, I'd say. It's getting Dad to actually win a race. But no, it's great to have the chaplain back on board for another year. Obviously, competed in the first year and then has done the chaplain's prayer as well as a personal homage to Anzac as well in one of the years. So great to have him back on board, and extra special to hear the kind words he said about our family at the moment, and everything going as well as could be right now. But appreciate everyone obviously thinking of us at this tough time. But the qualifying session continues on. Pecky's Performance Dyno Tune bringing us this qualifying session with Blake Warboys still sitting at the top of the tree. Haven't seen that Nathan Norman has advanced. He was inside the top 10 before. Now it looks like he's back in 12th position, so not sure if he's going to be able to start in the position that he'd probably want to pick up another win. 2 wins obviously in the first round would be exactly where he wants to be. But a 40-minute race, boys, it's probably a little bit more that you can do a bit more work. Obviously, no pit stop required for the TCR race, so the guys can go from start to finish. With this one, the guys do start with a certain amount of fuel, so everyone starts with the same amount, which will mean that everyone has to go for at least 1 pit stop throughout the race in the V8s. And then the fuel load is open from there, so it really comes down to fuel strategy. Obviously, when you talk about pit timings, it all comes down to knowing exactly how much fuel you've got to get into, because the difference between 10 litres here or there could mean the difference between getting out before or after that person who's just ahead of you.
It really can, and I'm sure a lot of the guys here are going to be calling on the team spotters to help them out with not only getting the cars navigating their way through the opening laps, but also to make sure they can get those strategies on point, and that will really come into play nicely as it works its way through the course of the run. A lot of guys, I'm surprising, jumping into the lane, opting to get fresh tyres on these cars every couple of laps to see whether they can keep furthering those times. Blake Warboys at the moment just come back out of pits. He's starting up another lap, and just saw him go purple sector 2. It doesn't mean anything for this lap at the moment, but it's a quick time nonetheless, 26.84 in the second sector of the circuit.
Yeah, Dylan Sates just getting that back on the ground. Craig Anspach, we'll get him just as he goes off somewhere off track there. It's a bit of a shame for the Tank SRT entry. Stephen Kennedy sitting in 20th position at the moment there in the Ford Mustang. Good to see him getting around. 20th position, maybe we'll see that just move up a couple there. Just having a look at the time there. Just missing out, getting, on the next position there by 14 thousandths of a second, 34 thousandths before that. So it's all very close in that sort of area there from 12th position back to 20th, and anything could happen.
Yeah, looking at the times too, it's a super tight competition once again as we get into this one. Two of the top guys sitting there at 129, so we've got a 129. Oh, as I say that, Jack Wittes puts himself in the top of the tree to make it 3 people in the top. So Jack Wittes now goes quick time in this qualifying session with a 129.644. Blake Warboy sitting in behind him with a 129.775, and then back to Josh Drage with a 129.982, and then just sitting outside of that is Damon Mulqueen with a 1.30, and then there's about 10 drivers in behind them who are also in the 130. So 131 seems to be the next group of timing, with a few of the top hitters sitting in there, with Nathan Norman and also Dylan Sates sitting in there. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see as we get through this with 18 minutes left to go of the qualifying session here for the supercars, to see exactly who's going to change up and get a better time. But as I said before, you drop a wheel off, you make contact with anyone, it is unfortunately counted as an incident point, which then means that your qualifying time for that lap is null and void. So very challenging to put together the best time that you possibly can without dropping a wheel off the track.
Well, he did lie to you. Sotto's back. He is back in the high power NT Commodore, and looks like he is getting around. Nick Sutton there, he's back in 39th position, just came out of the pit stop, so he's actually looking to extend or put his time down a bit there, see if he can move himself up the field. A bit of a wiggle on the brakes there, maybe just missed the apex on that one. He's had a busy day at the burnouts yesterday, mate. He got a bit excited in the old AU, and unfortunately he can't pick an AU to race in. Otherwise I'm sure he would. Plenty of action still happening. 26th position at the moment. Richard Varela there in the supercar, and he is just missing out by 84 tenths of a second. And 84 hundredths of a second there, and just missing out. Whether he can go up another position there. It's so close there. Then he goes up to Jake Burgess in 26th, Ray Oliver in 25th. So JB's not going to be happy back there at 26th. He's going to have to get a little bit of a wriggle on, I reckon, old JB. Might be looking for some clean air out there. Now, remembering we're at Phillip Island, it's obviously a reasonable sized track there when it comes to things, that we're putting 40 cars out there all at once. And they've got to spread themselves out, because there's quite a bit of time remaining when it comes to the qualifying. They've got a little bit of time here. Of course, you've got to remember they've got just under 17 minutes left. We're almost halfway through. What is the strategy, you reckon, here, Dan? Are you checking, your track map? Are you seeing where everyone is? Or are you going to try and do, follow someone around, maybe try and get that slipstream there and a bit, get them to drag you along through some parts of the track?
Look, there's definitely going to be a few guys out here that can take advantage of getting a little bit of a tow from a teammate, which is going to help you sort of move your way a little bit further up. But we're seeing a lot of these drivers at the moment put in 1 to 2 laps, come back in, grab a fresh set of boots, and go back out and do it again. Phillip Island does take a lot of life out of the tyres, especially with the high-speed nature of the circuit and the overall weight of these supercars. It really does knock these tyres around. And as Tegan was talking about later on in the race, we get to the pit stop cycle that's going to come through. That's going to throw the whole new spanner in the works about how they want to manage it. So for qualifying right now, we're seeing the guys just go 10 tenths, hammer the car as best as possible, vault your way up the order. be a little bit different later on. I am really interested to see, just looking at the timing spread that we've got from all our competitors out there. We know how close the top 15 in TCR was. We were talking about everyone inside a second at that point. We're looking at the moment of around a 4 to 5 second spread up and down the field. So that could really start to stretch this field out when we get into race scenarios.
Yeah, it looks like Nathan Norman's just put his way up into the top 10 as well, so he's just gone 8th quickest, just sitting in there behind Guy Leach, who's currently in 7th position. I guess, Dan, as well, when you consider all that, you know, the guys who are going out there and doing a couple of laps, and then as we just jump on board as Nathan Norman takes a big spin in front of a couple of people, and luckily not to take him out there as you jump back on board with the number 86 of Nathan Brown. But Dan, I suppose, you know, with some of the guys who, you know, go out for a couple of laps, come back in and throw a new set of boots on it, that really comes down to their own strategy as well, doesn't it? Because some people would be better on brand new tyres, whereas some would want to get a couple of laps under them and really let them wear in, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, they would. And I mean, the balance of the car is a really tricky one in this. Being fixed setup, a lot of these guys obviously race quite a variety of other series, open setups. They've got the ability to play with the roll bars and really balance these cars more to their liking, especially as the tyre wear comes into it. You don't have that opportunity in this series. And in a qualifying standpoint, you want your tools as sharp as possible to set those best times. And that's why we're seeing these guys really just, you know, throw caution to the wind, get out there and go. Just if we can look at Jack Wittes as well, he's actually gone a little bit quicker again. He's done a 1:29.27, and he's just set purple sectors in 1 and 2. So he's on a flyer as well. You just see him park the car off in the southern loop there. So he's found something that's worked for him, but that now puts the arrow on, the target on the back, and everyone else has got to find that little bit extra to catch up to him.
Tommy Orton just sitting in P21 there at the moment. You can see in the Roadrunner NT car, and we know Tommy does a fair bit behind the scenes, and to thank him for all he does here for the NTE series. Working in the back, and like you say, he's moved somewhere where he's got permanent power, and but he hasn't got any better at driving.
As he takes out a go at himself, and we jump on over to Michael Gore, who's been a part of the series from the inception, currently sitting back in P26 when it comes to qualifying. Michael in the McGee's car, he's you know, just been a consistent, you know, and he can get himself up there. There was a good number of them who were all running the McGee's cars and were out there together. But yeah, good to see Michael Gore jumping back on board and getting in with us as we have a look at the Shannons Insurance driver cam. Matty Cav, now who are we looking at there?
That's Mr. Gore himself. Look,
that's Mr. Gore.
Look, his mow is just hanging out. He's got the broom-style mow just hanging out under the VR goggles. He's got the gloves on, though, and what I love is he's got the ducting to blow fresh air onto him while he's driving.
I was about to say, I can't actually pinpoint what I'm most impressed with right now. So the fact that he's running VR goggles, the fact that he's wearing gloves, the fact that he's got ducting, and then that dirty mow hanging out the bottom of the VR goggles. It's just all an impressive sight to have a look at right now.
Look, maybe we should have a mow competition. You know, maybe we should do the NTE series Movember, and we should have a race at the end of November, raise money, because these guys, imagine how filthy those mows would be after another 6 or 7 months of growing them.
That'd be incredible, and yeah, you give me 3 or 4 years and maybe I can compete.
Just maybe. We've got a couple of boys up on screen here tonight that, yeah, it's good to see the boys. A couple of the webcams logged in tonight. We've got a few of them who have decided to let us into their sim, I suppose. And if you want to get involved, if you want to get your face out there, your mug, if you've got a filthy mow, make sure you message Jake Burgess throughout the week. And as the rounds go on, we will be putting a few people up there on webcam. It's good to see the different setups we've got and how the different people are when it comes to what they've spent on their sim, I suppose, not money-wise, but the time and the effort they've put into it, and how much dedication to the other people who might have the old Logitech setup with the you know, $600 or $700 setup, and some guys have gone to the well, let's add a zero onto that easy. So very interesting to see the different setups between and how they go. And I do believe the Norman boys, it might be, I can't remember if it's Kevin or Nathan, mate. They are still on a very, very simple setup, but impressed when you look at the time boards.
Yeah, definitely. You see them both inside that top 10. Kevin Norman currently sitting in 7th position. Nathan Norman just inside that top 10, sitting in 10th position. So, yeah, good to see. And obviously Nathan Norman picking up that first race win. So I suppose it's going to be interesting to see whether he can advance there in himself. I was just looking through that top 10. Paul Mansell's actually dropped his way out of the top 10, so not what he would be looking for here as we jump on board with his teammate. Currently in position number 4, the 46 of Guy Leach, the 2021 winner of the NTE Series, thanks to Shannons Motor and Insurance. Currently running the ZB Commodore, and Cool Drive on the side. Also a series sponsor for the NTE Series. Great to have him on board. Just over 10 minutes remaining of this Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning qualifying session, with Jack Leader still at the top of the leaderboard with Blake Warblers in behind. Damon Mulqueen in third position. Back to Guy Leach and Josh Drage. That's your top 5. Crosby, Norman, Brown, Anspatch and Nathan Norman rounding out the top 10 of this qualifying session. Let's see if anyone can advance their way forwards. Paulie Mansell sitting outside that top 10, back there in position number 12, and Callan Gear in behind him in 13th. Let's see if either of those guys can make their way to the top 10 as we jump on board with position number 17, Daniel Norris in the ZB Commodore number 27. Pecky's Performance Dyno Tuning on the side of that one. Huge props to throwing that livery on the car. It looks fantastic as he gets around the track.
Yeah, John Van Ree, who's a bit further down the pack there in P35, though you can see he's in the Commodore and he pulls the car up. Someone we've just got off the end there. Is that Tim Gracie? Is that Tim Gracie just rejoined us, the RACQ car? He's not having a great night, Gracie. He's definitely had a few issues. Should we check in with him and see how he's going in the cockpit there? Let's hope he's still got his webcam up and running. Look, he's got the one-arm bandit there. He's very, very sedate. Just small movements there on the steering wheel.
It's unreal when you think about it too, Matty. He got the Wooden Spoon Award last year. He had a horrid, he just didn't get the results he was looking for, and now he comes into this one with a broken arm, so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes. He's doing pretty well. He looks very, very casual. It's like he's out for a Sunday drive here, but still doing and putting together some decent times.
Yeah, I must admit, we had Gracie bet last year. He was putting the odds on, see who was going to take over, and you just never knew what was going to happen there. But he's got the broken wing, fell over his kids' toys, and smacked himself on the door. Doesn't even have a good story to talk about it. That's the worst part about it. Tyrone Anderson, who's been kind enough to let us into his sim rig as well, and another one that's going from Movember. Look at this one, but he's got the face shown. He's got full face.
Full face, no gloves. His best beat by Dre on his head currently, and he's looking very casual at the moment too, isn't he? Not a drop of sweat on him.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's obviously got the aircon on. I have noticed, because I can see the webcams in the background, that he's had the old sneaky Great Northern, mate. And last year, from memory, he did have the Great Northern livery on.
That's exactly right. Having a look through the pecking order here, no pun intended, of the Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tune qualifying. Paulie Mansell's made his way to position number 7 now. He's knocked Nathan Norman outside the top 10, so he's done well to get himself back up there, and good to see him inside that top 10 with I think there's been a bit of change at the top end too with Guy Leach now.
Guy Leach now in third.
Yeah,
I was going to point that out because he's just got ahead of Mulqueen as well, so that's a good jump from those guys. And both those two cars with Mansell and Leach, they were working together to try and get themselves around here and vault themselves up the order, so that's worked really well for those guys.
Yeah, there's that team member coming into it, and that's why Matty Cav and myself never would have done any well in the NTE series, because we don't have any friends.
Oh, look, Ryan Robertson's got his mum watching, of course. It's good to see Ryan Robertson. He's still living at home, mate, I'm sure. Got himself into 16th position at the moment, doing well. Let's try for top 10. Look, surely, last year, from memory, didn't he get just a 10th or 11th in one of the qualifying sessions? He was just on the cusp, I think, and he had a bit of luck there. Unfortunately, the pit stops might not have gone his way last season, so we'll have to wait and see. You never know what's going to happen. Remembering Guy Leach was consistent last season. Jack Widdus was the quickest across the first 3 races from memory, but he had a shocker in one of those. Just came into an incident there, fighting it out for position number 1, and that really hurt and gave Guy Leach the opportunity to catch up to him in the final couple of races there when it comes to points. So it's just very important to keep knocking on the door, keep just trying to get those the points accumulate, I suppose, throughout the series. Remember, we've got 5 rounds to do. You have to do a TCR car. You have to do the supercar. If you don't decide not to do one, you don't get any points. So you've got to do both cars. You've got to get, I suppose, excel in both. You need to try for that top 10, top 5 position in both supercars and TCR. Some familiar names up the front. Jack Widders will be looking to come back from that TCR race that we just had earlier because he had an incident with Callan Gear and that really pushed him back down. They managed to work their way back through and get in the top 15, but people looking for a win in this one. Ash Barella just joining us back out, starting to come back out onto track, as I can see. Sean Norris, obviously our Paralympian gold medalist. We'll try and catch up with him, chat with him, of course, when he plays the basketball over there. He's been to Beijing, he's been over to London to compete for Australia, and now he's competing for the most coveted prize of all. What's a gold medal at the Olympics? Nothing compared to what you're going to get at the Shannons Insurance NTE Series in 2022, because we've got some fantastic prizes coming to our winners, not just the cash. We've got something hidden up our sleeve that I do believe is going to be revealed later on in the series. So you'll have to wait and listen into that one. I'm only hearing rumours about what it could be.
Is it a great night with the 3 of us?
Well, you said great in there. I mean, a
Yeah,
night
okay.
with the 3 of us. You could have said a
with the
night
three.
with the 3 of us. When you said great, that's where it became unbelievable.
Yeah. Dan is bad company. You're right.
Yeah, sorry, fellas.
I had to pick on him sometime soon. Having a look with only a few minutes left to go of this qualifying session for the V8 Supercars. Jack Widders still sitting at the top of the tree with a 129, a 213. Blake Warboys sitting in behind with Damon Mulqueen in the top 3 as well. Guy Leach moves his way up to 4th position. Josh Drage in 5th. Then back to Crosby, Mansell, Norman, Brown and McLean. Your top 10 with Craig Ansbach and Nathan Norman just outside in 11th and 12th position. Few names down the back of the pack that you wouldn't expect to see, as Timmy Driscoll
Poor Timmy
just
Driscoll.
puts it in the wall hard.
I was
Luckily,
going
this
to say
is
the gas man. I thought they were talking about you, but yeah, that's just for a whole other reason. But Matty Burns here in the electric NT car, of course the Mustang. No surprise there, he's gone for the Ford package again for his 3rd season. Like I say, in season number 1 it was to the kitchen bench. That's what he had bolted to, the old Logitech gear, and not quite sure if he's upgraded since then, Burnsy. But very efficient behind the wheel of a go-kart as well. Manages to put quite a few laps together, and like we say, a lot of them in the field do have the go-kart heritage there and still do a lot of go-kart racing.
Yeah, we talked about before the idea behind helping out teammates. If you go back to Josh Drage right now, he is in a 3-car pile-up with 2 very similar-looking liveries there, so I'm not sure if a bit of the strategy Dan was alluding to a little bit earlier on today might be coming in here with a little bit of a last-ditch effort to get some better times on the board. What do you think, fellas?
I definitely looking for the draft. I reckon he's looking for the draft there. They've got to get all their teammates in.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, I think the guy, well, at least one of those cars in that lot will be Blake Warboys as well. We saw him running that livery also, just sitting there in the 3rd position at the moment. So actually he's pulling them around. So Warboy's actually trying to pull the guys around and set them up a little bit further on. So we might keep an eye on this because that could work out quite well. The 91 there of Josh Drage not really falling too far behind as they work their way up the top of Lukey Heights.
Yeah, and it's Ash Barella there, the 3rd car. So they are all pulling each other along. Hopefully they can move their way up. Blake Warboy's obviously so strong as he runs off too. He's done himself a mischief, gone a little bit too deep himself there, and that's no drama because it is qualifying session. And he's already got himself on the front row at the moment alongside Jack Widders. Now that is going to be a fantastic run to the first corner if they go side by side.
Well, it will be, and if we think back to what we saw at the start of the TCR event, we saw a large number of guys off down in towards the southern loop, and we called that in the hot lap there. You've got to be careful of working your way through there. These cars very tricky to pull up into that area, and if they get it a little bit untidy, we're going to see a lot of those cars find their way off into the weeds.
Well, that has worked, the drafting. Ash Barella's already reset, but look at that, 5th position now, gone up there. So Ash Barella has managed to use that draft there that Blake Warboys and Josh Drage put on, got himself in the top 10. be very happy with that. Paulie Mansell still back in 8th position. He's used to being on the first couple of rows of the grid. Mind you, the difference I think is going to be when it comes to this supercar race is I know Guy Leach and Paul Mansell do very well when it comes to pit stop strategy. We know we only have one compulsory pit stop, but it might be enough. If we've seen Paul Mansell come back from some terrible qualifying or having an incident at the start of the race, manage to use the pit stop strategy to his advantage. Can he do it? Bit of luck with a safety car. Remembering 24/7 race control are on behind the scenes. They are watching live race control. They will bring out the Porsche Shannons Insurance pace car if they need to. We have to get a yellow flag out there, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. No penalties issued in the TCR race so far. I did not see anything in the penalty chat. That's fantastic.
Oh, Mansell with a massive slide getting over the top of Leafy Heights there. He's just going to get it pulled up as well. That's going to hurt the lap time. But smart avoidance there just to let that car behind work his way through. But that was a nice job to save that one as he gets it out a little bit more sideways around the back end of the lap.
Well, let's get on with one of our sponsors. Oh, I thought he was moving around. Did say he was doing some kilometres now, but he's not. James Balvin's, the pool guys, Adelaide, of course, on the side of this car. James Balvin's, one of our supporters here of the NTE series, getting around the ZB Commodore. And so brake lock up there out on the grass, and that's out. If that was Sydney this weekend, he wouldn't have made that tyre wall. He would have got wedged straight into a whole lake, and he would have stopped on that gravel for sure. We'll get on with Richard Barella there. We'll see what that. There seem to be a lot of them resetting themselves into the pits here as the session carries on. Maybe just looking for a little bit. Oh, looks like our session may be done. Checkered flag is out. That looks like our qualifying session. Just a few cars left across the line, but most of them have moved in. I'm just having a look through here. Craig Anspach still out on track at the moment. Maybe he might be able to improve on his time. I'm just having a look as he comes around. An opportunity currently in 13th position. Can he move up into the top 10? Not too many cars out on track at the moment. The qualifying session, 30 minutes, has been run and done, all thanks to Pecky's performance and Dyno tune. The checkered flag is out for qualifying session, final corner. A little bit of a wiggle there. Craig Anspach might not be able to do better than P13. It's a 1:32.95. How does he go as he comes around the final corner? Sets himself up for the run, and we'll just wait to see if this time updates there. And doesn't look like we're going to improve on that one. Craig Anspach will be reset. That might be all of our cars run and done when it comes to this qualifying session. So let's check them out. Of course, our qualifying results, let's have a look at them right now. All right, as you can see up on screen, Jack Widders is going to be up there with the 129.213 or 129.288 for Blake Warboys. Will be alongside him on the front row. Damon Mulqueen, Guy Leach in 3rd and 4th, Ash Barella and Josh Drage in 5th and 6th, Callan Gear and Darren Crosby in 7th and 8th, and Paul Mansell and Kevin Norman will round out our top 10. You can see we go through there. Any names that stand out to you guys where Tim Gracie, what are you doing? Gracie bets down the back again. That's because he's only using one arm. That's the problem there. Mark Peck, 33rd. Not too bad, actually, for Mr. Peck. He's working his way through there. Nick Sutton, good to see him get back into 36th. I'm just having a look to see if there's any names there I thought might have gone up a little bit further. Tyrone Anderson back in 24th. We usually see him a little bit higher up. Nathan Norman not doing as well in this series. When we move to the supercars there, back in 14th position. So anyone else stand out for you guys?
Yeah, look, for me, I think I potentially would have expected to see Ryan Robson up a little bit further. But I guess as we're looking through this, the names that are on here, I guess the quality of field is where it's at. And that's what's really changing everything is some of the names we would have expected to see up. It's just going to change like this as we go throughout the series because it just depends on who brings what to the table for the race and who's that little bit better on the day.
All right, well, there you go. That's our qualifying results for this round. And what we might do is grab a couple of words from our fantastic sponsors here at the Shannons Insurance NTE series, and we'll be back with you in just a second.
Looking for an easy option for equipment or plant hire? Hire Power NT staff have over 40 years experience in the Territory and are now located in 3 convenient locations. With quality customer service and extensive product knowledge, why would you use anyone else? You'll find us in Yarrawonga, Winnelli and Katherine with the latest, most up-to-date equipment for the local tradie and DIY enthusiast. Call us today for all your equipment and plant hire needs. We've got it, or we'll get it.
The 2022 Shannons Insurance NTE Series is back with a new challenge, all thanks to our series sponsors. Shannons Insurance, Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning, Paul Mansell Photography, NP Style Signage and Graphics, Auto Inspections and Road Services NT, West Oz Roof Restorations, Higher Power NT, Pool Guys Adelaide, Pool Drive, and Maddicap Media. So while they get warmed up out on track, we still have a few minutes left to go as we see him just having a little bit of fun. Getting himself prepared. We got nearly 7 minutes to go before we get underway with the main race. Don't forget, the Breaking Late podcast, the official podcast of the NTE Series, will be on each and every week for a round recap, results, championship standings, of course. I'll catch up with drivers and wildcard interviews. Tune in every Thursday night. Just look up Breaking Late, the official podcast of the NTE Series. That's a one you can get involved with if you want to check it out. And, of course, Shannons Insurance do have a winter Corvette and Indian Scout last year. Well, we won last year, but they have this every year. They seem to have a car and a motorbike there. Of course, 134242, or, of course, shannons.com.au. Go and check out all the details when it comes to winning a Corvette and an Indian Scout, and fantastic supporters of the NTE Series for the third year running. We so fantastic to have them on board. And don't forget, E&K Racing can win yourself a ticket, a 3-day hot pass to the Supercars in Darwin, 17th and 19th of June. Airfare's not included. Must make your way there. It is just a hot pass, but it's not just a hot pass. It's a private pit tour of the number 26 E&K Racing Improved Production car. So go and hang out with the team and have a good time at what is the Darwin Supercars. Get up there and enjoy everything that is the Northern Territory. If you haven't been up there already, of course, we do have quite a few viewers watching us from all over the place. And I do see we are starting to get some comments here on the social media. Tommy Orton, Pecky's car looks good. I wonder who painted that. Who did the livery for that?
Yeah, I do wonder.
You do wonder, don't you, some days?
You'd have to.
Let's have a look at the race preview, though, for today. Of course, we'll have a look at the conditions here for the Supercars. Once again, it's a 40-minute race, one compulsory pit stop there. 4.41 kilometres, 12 turns to get around. 18 degrees air temp with 35 degrees track temp, Dan. That is high.
Yeah, it's a big shift from what we saw at the TCR event. That was only 22 degrees for our first race, so that's going to put a lot of emphasis on managing the tyre life in these cars. A huge amount more as this one continues on.
Well, let's go along and have a review of how it's all going to start here on the starting grid, and let's see how it all starts off. And we know it's Jack Widders up there, and I know that what they've done is they've given me the wrong entry number for Jack Widders because I can see it in the server. It's different to what we had, but Jack Widders out of P1. Blake Warboys will be alongside in P2. Then it's Damon Mulqueen and Guy Leach are going to be on row number 2. Row number 3 is going to be Ash Barella and Josh Drage, the WKMP team. Obviously, we saw them drafting themselves around the track a little bit earlier. Callan Gear is going to be starting out of P7. In P8, though, alongside, I did not write it down.
Sure, not.
It is. We've got no graphic for him. That's what's come through in the system. That's why. That's all right. We'll get that sorted for next round. Paul Mansell will be out of row number 5 there with Kevin Norman alongside. Then it's going to be Nathan Brown and Justin McLean out of row number 6 as we head on to the 7th row. Craig Ansbach and Nathan Norman will be there. Row number 8 will be Cameron Edwards with Dylan Saints alongside with row 9. Stephen Kennedy and Daniel Norris are going to fight it out of row 9. Back to row 10, it's going to be Ryan Robson. He didn't improve, Deborah. He went back a little bit, but he'll fight his way through. Tommy Orton alongside, so he's going to have an easy run into the first corner, I'm going to say. Ray Oliver and Jake Burgess are going to be out of row number 11, and JB with the Shannons Insurance NTE Series logos on the side is not going to be fond of starting that far back in the middle of the pack. Neil Woodburn will be back there in 23 with Tyrone Anderson alongside. As we go through the grid, 25 and 26 is going to be James Etz with Jack Gray alongside. Then it's P27, P28. It's going to be Michael Halkidis and Dean Powell. Back to the 15th row, Michael Gore and Richard Perella. Big field here, 45 cars in here tonight. Bradley Minshall will be out of P31 with Michael Ladder alongside. Then it's going to be Mark Peck back in position number 33 with Simon Farrington in 34. 35 will be Matty Burns with Nick Sutton alongside back in row number 18. Is where they're lined up. Then it's James Balvins in 37 with John Venry alongside. Position number 39, you're going to have to help me out again, Dan. I know you've got it there in front of you.
That's actually Shane Newens. I can even help
It
you out
is
there, mate.
Shane Newlands, yeah. Mitch Strzelecki alongside. Timmy Driscoll in 31 with Snow Cotter alongside in 42. And we finish things off here. I think it's just going to be a safety car. Tim Gracie there in 43 by himself. Poor Tim Gracie. It's a shame. It's a shame to see him back there as the one-arm bandit. He hasn't made his way there to the front of the pack like he would have liked there on the starting grid. But like we say, no surprise there. Jack Widdis is going to be one to watch out for, and I can't wait to see him and Damon Mulqueen sort of battle this one out. It's going to be an awesome start to what is going to be the first supercar race here for the NTE Series coming your way very, very soon. What we might do is grab a couple of words from our sponsors once again, and we'll be back with you very, very shortly. Just a couple of minutes remaining in this warm-up session. Remembering we've got some prize money on the line here for the drivers of this series. $200 will go to first prize, $100 to second, $50 for third. All thanks to High Power, our best presented hold and best presented forward will get $50 each. Of course, Auto Inspections and Road Services NT, Driver of the Day, $25 in iRacing credits per round. The best and fairest, all thanks to West Oz Roof Restorations, $150 cash. $80 cash, all thanks to the Pool Guys, Adelaide, for the most improved over the series. And of course, for Tim Gracie, the Wooden Spooner will be $50 cash at the end of the series for the person who ends up at the bottom. Hopefully, it's not Timmy. Hopefully not. But $50 will get you a fair bit of a carton.
Yeah, pretty rough to put it straight on him, aren't you, Matty?
Look, he's one arm down.
Well.
He's one arm down.
Well. Yeah, he started off the series with a bit of a handicap there, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, we'll have a chat with. Maybe Sean Norris could actually get in there and help him out. That's what I reckon. Look, the man is talented there, Sean Norris. He's doing this all on hand controls. Of course, a Paralympian, competes in the wheelchair basketball, got gold medals for Australia. He's come on, of course, his brother Dan Norris normally competes in our series, but he's coming in as our wildcard entry. He has to use the buttons on the steering wheel and stuff like that. He can't use his feet, can't use his legs. So maybe we need to do the opposite when it comes to Tim Gracie. We need to get him to use his legs and not his arms, seeing he's only got one.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, really, when you think about it, because when you're looking at the steering wheel of the sim setups, there's generally 10 or so buttons that can be utilised for various different things, and anyone who's on a sim generally uses them up very quickly, and will generally utilise things like a Stream Deck to give them some extra buttons to go through. But yeah, obviously with someone like Norris, he's got to use all those buttons for the accelerator and that, and then doesn't have the advantage of being able to set up the pedals and that to the feel that they would normally want and expect out of a decent set of pedals. So yeah, he does very well, considering it's all by button and doesn't quite have the feel that you'd probably hope for.
Look, last minute Instagram check for Tyrone Anderson. He just had to get that Instagram check in first. He was belting up just a second ago. He did say that on socials, getting ready, preparing himself. He's good to go. Our session now changing over. Looks like we're not too far away from getting underway as we are going to kick things off in our final race for the night. Back to the supercars here for our drivers. Something we're more familiar with when it comes to the Shannons Insurance NTE series. Of course, they are lining up on the grid now. All the cars getting ready to go. Jack Widdis is going to lead us out of this one. And alongside, you're going to have Blake Warboys. That's what's going to be very interesting about this one. Here we go, waiting for Mr. Warboys to get into the... Oh, look, he's getting ready. I'm going to bring him up if I can. Look at this. He's still talking. He's having a bit of a shake of the head. He's looking relaxed. There you go. Now he's entered. Let's have a look at... We might actually follow this as he takes off, because this is going to be interesting to see on the launch exactly what happens when it comes to him. He's alongside Jack Widders, who we know is very, very strong. He's going to be much happier out in clean, open air, I would say, for Jack Widders, rather than when he's stuck with the TCR cars. RPM comes up. The lights are about to go out. You'll see the tyres smoke. Here we go. We're underway. Lots going on the back of the pack. Oh, carnage.
A little bit of side-to-side contact there. I don't see anyone speared off in the weeds yet, which is a good thing. But for Jack Widders, he's got a blinding start, takes a commanding lead into turn one. Guy Leach now up into second position, so he's made a fantastic jump on the second row of the grid there. Oh, we've got a car off wide. Who is that? That's Matthew Bruns, I think it is. Has just had a moment there and been nerfed off at the end of Southern Loop.
Yeah, that's a big one there. I'm just trying to see when I bring that up. Heaps of off-track going on at the moment. You might be right. Is it Mitch Leckie, maybe? So much to be unfolded there as some of the cars taken off in the background. We might be able to get back to that one. I'm not quite sure if we'll grab who it is. We'll go back to a replay and just see if we can figure out who that was off in the background. It all sort of started to unfold. We're going to get back far enough. I don't think we're going to get back far enough on that replay, unfortunately. It's all happening though back in the field. They're going 4 wide. We'll head back live though to our leader, Jack Widders, who is starting to open up a nice bit of a gap now. It's 2 seconds. Just got himself a nice little comfortable run. Jack Widders settling himself in. Guy Leach now back in second. These were 1 and 2 in the championship last year. Jack Widders led it most of the way before Guy Leach came there in the final race and snatched victory.
Quite a few cars there down in the pit lane following those crashes early on, so I'll wait to see whether any of those guys are able to retake to the field. It looks like we might have our safety car out on track as well, just to pick up this field and get everyone bunched back down, and see the guys just coming to a bit of a standstill here behind the Shannons Insurance 992 Porsche safety car.
Yeah, it's a unique advantage to be able to run the safety car as we do for the NTE series here, where we actually have someone really sitting there ready to jump in the safety car and lead us around, because with iRacing, you generally will lose 5 or 6 minutes when you're doing the normal safety car that is set up by the team by the time everyone's grouped up and those sorts of things. Whereas having someone be able to jump straight out there and lead the guys around means that we can get the race back underway sooner rather than later, and means that we can we don't lose too many laps. So be interesting to see whether we roll around for 1 or 2 laps here and then get it back underway. But great initiative here, as well as the race control that we have on board as well, that helps us to make sure that all the racing that goes on is as clean as possible.
Definitely. It looks like we did have a couple of cars too just getting back out of the lane and rejoining as well, which is good to see. I think that was James Zeitz and Mark Peck just making their way back out onto the circuit as well. We've still got a couple more cars just getting back underway. So we should see everyone potentially back into the train once this one goes through. Now, just for a bit of a side note, as we were talking about Sean Norris before, interesting to work out about the hand controls. There's actually a dedicated sim racing company that does put hand controls on the market for people who require them, which is fantastic to see. And I'd love to have a chat to him later on and see how he finds them. But for anyone looking into it, 3D wraps are the people to have a look at, and very interesting the way they do it. Just one hand for acceleration and brake.
Yeah, there you go. That's great. Obviously, it'll be something that we'll try and get to throughout the series, and get a good look at his sim and do a bit of a showcase on it, because it is something very different and interesting. So good to see that the guys are helping out with getting that done and can produce a sim for it.
So most people who are familiar with fast repairs when it comes to iRacing means you get one chance to pull in the pits and repair your car very, very quickly. Now, a few people have had to jump in and use that already. Of course, you only get one for this one. Michael Gore, Matty Burns, Tim Driscoll, Simon Farrington have all had to use their fast repairs. Mark Peck did not. James Zetz did as well. So they've all had to come into the pits there and grab themselves a fast repair, which obviously get that out of the way early, but you don't want to use it, I suppose, when you've got a 40-minute race. The possibility of more things happening on this restart. I suppose the good news is the car's up the front, nice and safe. I noticed that Blake Warboys already has caused a couple of incident points there, so that won't. I'm not quite sure what the incident point limit is on this race. We'll have to wait and find out, I think, a bit later on.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Safety car will be in it as well at the conclusion of this lap, so we'll be underway pretty quickly. This will maybe change the strategies just slightly for all these teams and drivers as well out here with this safety car coming out on lap 1. So might see the fuel window just extend a little bit more, maybe not require as much fuel later on to get these cars home after they come in for their compulsory stops.
Remember, you can check out the live timing in the track map at nteseries.com.au. Go to live timing. It is right up there on the website if you want to follow everything that's going on. And, of course, then you will know exactly what the pit stops are. And at the moment, as we can see, it's all those ones that came in for a fast repair pretty much got the pit stops done. So they've done their compulsory pit stop. They won't have to come in again, but they'll probably need to, is what we're saying is. So we'll wait and see. It looks like the safety car is just starting to open that gap up. 24/7 race control, of course, on board for season number 3 of the NTE series, all thanks to Shannons Insurance. So manual safety car there, and it gets out on track and taking care of everything. We do have, if you're in our Discord, if you're one of our drivers, we do have the penalty Discord chat there, so you can see the penalties as they come up. Rossi Johnson, good to see. Where is Rossi Johnson? Why isn't he racing? He's probably, are you down in Sydney racing the 86s this weekend, mate? I didn't see the support categories, unfortunately. Got to catch about 20 minutes of the race today due to programming this. So it would be great to know if you were out there racing in Sydney, or in the 86 series. Just waiting. This lap should be the restart there, waiting for the safety car to lead away. Jack Willis, don't forget to get on all of our socials, nteseries.com.au, and of course you can check out the live timing right now. Fantastic to see that they've stepped it up again for the 2022 and added the extra bits for all of our viewers there who want to get involved. Don't forget the Breaking Late podcast. Get that on Thursday night if you want to check out everything, and Breaking Late podcast. That's all you need to know, the official podcast of the NTE series. Here we go. Safety car is pulling away. Can't be too far away from getting back underway. When will Jack Widders do it? That is the question. He'll only have the last couple of corners where he'll be able to accelerate away. He's just leaving a little bit of a gap. Guy Leach, is he going to put the final pressure on there? Thinks he might get a run on the back of Jack Widders. Does he know what he's going to do? Widders has been super fast so far. Looks like the safety car is about in, and we are back underway with racing.
Yeah, great jump from Widders there. He's already got a gap nicely over Guy Leach. Warboys on the back of Leach. Mulqueen just hovering in around the back there. We'll keep an eye on the rest of the field working their way through, but already 0.8 of a second advantage to Widders. He's got away beautifully here.
Looks like they're all getting out of that final corner nicely too. Can't see anyone bunching up, doing the overtaking manoeuvres very early. So this could be a clean start or restart to the race. Of course, one lap in, we've already had the safety car out, all thanks to 24/7 race control, and it looks like they have got through nice and clean. That could mean we're going to be in for a great race. Blake Warboys now in second position. He's going to have to watch out behind, though, because he's got him coming. Guy Leach, Damon Mulqueen. So Blake Warboys has got the nice jump over Guy Leach at the start of this race. Got the overtaking manoeuvre done.
It's powered out nicely out of Honda hairpin, already able just to extend a little bit of breathing room there. 0.3 of a second advantage to him as he works his way through. Mulqueen will be lining up for a bit of a challenge here. And further down in the field, we've still got plenty of overtaking going on. The timing tree is still moving up and down. James Belvin's just getting a move done there on Shane Nolans. Mark Peck also moving up the position now into 36th, dispensing of John Venry.
Yeah, this one's going to be a great little battle, I think, at the front. Guy Leach is going to have to do a fair bit of work now. He's starting to find his way in the groove. It'll be interesting to see Josh Drage just back there at the end of this little battle pack, with the Damon Mulqueen stuck in between. Ash Barella not too far behind too. Also one of the same cars there in the background from the WKMP team. Just having a look, Dylan Sates behind there, rocking the NTE series livery on that car at the moment. Back in 8th position. Just behind. So Paul Mansell still in our top 10. He started back there out of 9th position. He has not managed to gain any positions at this point, but he'll be looking for the long game in this one. 40 minutes, knowing the safety car is already there. He will already have an idea of when he wants to come in for that ultimate pit stop there, whether he's going to try and do the undercut, but he seems to be the man that, out of this field, that's very precise when it comes to the strategy. That's what it looks for. A bit of a lock-up just in front of there, Dylan Sates. And he grabs a break there again. I'm sure Paul Mansell will take full advantage of that one as we have a look behind. See the cars lining up there. Nathan Norman back in 11th now. He is up 3 positions. Another one there is Cameron Edwards. He has made himself now 5 positions to get himself up into P10. So just got himself on the cusp there. But already 5 positions made very early in the race. Remember, we've only done about 3 laps under full power. A couple of laps behind the safety car completed. The Jazz Mac Commodore. Following Paul Mansell around, and he's already made 5 positions. He definitely has some pace. Ryan Robson, another one, up 4 positions as well. He's managed to get himself there as he slides the car out, gets a wheel out in the dirt, manages to hold on to it. Wow, he's loose.
It's a bit of a pucker factor moment there as you work your way around the back there. That's not where you want to have these cars getting out sideways on you at all, but able to gather it up, holding on to 15th position, and as you're saying, 4 spots gained for him. Some other big movers down throughout the field. Nick Sutton up 9 spots from where he started. It's down in 27th at the moment, working his way towards the pointy end. And we also saw Mitch Sosleski gaining 7 spots, now in 33rd as well. A few big guys that have dropped further down the order. Neil Woodburn down 15 positions, and Kalen Gear down in 13 spots, finds himself in 20th at the moment. So that's going to be a tough night at the wheel in the supercar to claw his way up.
Mark Peck now holding out position number 32. Tyrone Anderson behind him. Mitch Strzelecki just dropped back to 34. So Tyrone Anderson must have got the message there from Rossi Johnson that said pull your finger out. That's pretty much what it said. So they managed to get it through there. Good to see Rossi Johnson was down in a very wet Sydney, mate. I hope you took your... Well, look, you're a Darwin boy, so you know how to swim. That's all I need. That's all you need to know. You know how to swim. Good to see a lot of our Territorians starting to compete in the National Series when it comes to Toyota A6, TCR, whether it be the supercars. But we've got a few of them in there now. Shane Rossi Johnson can be part of the series here tonight. I'm sure we'll see him later on in the series when he's back on home ground. Mark Peck just in 29 at the moment, in the 30, so he's managed to make his way up 4 positions now. We just try and, he'd probably be pretty content, I'd say, to be in the 20s. Tegan?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's going to be looking to get his way up there and try and get up in the top 20. I mean, I think a top 10 would be even better for him. But no, he's been doing a lot of work to make sure he's right up there. And yeah, it's good to see that he's having a good battle out as we jump back on board with the number 21 of Dylan Sates. Our best livery from 2021 for the Ford Mustangs, and he's currently sitting there in 7th position. So this is where we expected him to see, and I guess this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier today. Dylan Sates not up there when it came to the TCRs. So a little bit of difference there between him in the TCR compared to where we are used to seeing him in the V8s as we jump back on board with Guy Leach and have a bit of a look at the battle pack between Guy Leach, Damon Mulqueen and Josh Drage.
Absolutely nothing separating them at the moment. 0.3 of a second between the top 2, 0.5 for the guys a little bit further back there. But Mulqueen really showing the diversity required so far. We saw him P2 in qualifying for the TCR, brought it home in P2 for that one. 3rd on the grid to start this one, and sitting just in 4th there. He's adapting very, very well to both of these cars at the moment.
Just starting to pull away a bit now from Josh Drage in the background there. You can see the gap just opening up, and so have a look further back down the grid. You see the flick of dirt there from some of the cars as they start to head through. Is that Ryan Robson under a whole heap of pressure now from Craig Anspach as well? That's going to be very interesting as we check this one out. Just takes the wide line, Anspach down the inside. Cameron Edwards just a little bit further back. Check out Ryan Robson, currently started out of position number 19, currently in position number 13, all thanks to our higher power driver stats. Craig Anspach really wants to get this done though. He's been held up at the moment. Robson not going to, is he going to let him go through? Looks like he will let Anspach make that move. Don't want to make contact. Stays on the outside, gets on the dirty side though, and once you're out on that gravel, very hard to pull that up. He's going to lose himself a couple of positions.
Yeah, look like Anspach just a little deeper on the brakes there and almost forced the issue there, running him wide through Honda, but no contact between either of those two cars. And you just see Anspach now just looks like he's going to redress that position there and fight another day afterwards.
Yeah, great decision there to redress that, I think, early on. Doesn't really get in trouble from race control. 24/7, obviously watching everything that goes on, and we'll be dispatching safety cars as required or dishing out the penalties. We will let you know if we see them come up in the penalty chat on Discord. We'll bring them up on the screen for you so you know exactly what is happening. But great hands there, and that means he's lost himself. The Blake Warboys down 15 positions, so I'm just wondering what happened to Warboys. I'm going to go back to see if I can see anything that stood out for me recently.
Well, he has been down the lane, so we saw 25-second run through for him. Paul Mansell also in the lane now as well.
There we go. Just getting some stuff done there. So everyone's starting to decide when they're going to head down that pit lane, which is very interesting. Some of the undercuts, obviously you need to look at where you're going to come back out. And we have a bit of a look at the track map. It is obviously at nteseries.com.au on the live timing. You can see what's going on. A track map going to show you the positions that get around. As you can see, starting to come around. Position number 1 catching up to our back markers there, down in position number 43. Of course, Woodburn, Shane Ewan's 42. Jack Widders just has that gap over position number 2 though at the moment.
Yeah, he done really driving out that 3 seconds now.
Yeah, he's opened a bit of a gap. I'm just seeing who that is. That Dylan Sates now with Ash Barella and Nathan Norman locked into a bit of a battle as well. Here we go around the outside. Not going to make it happen. Ash Barella really trying to put the moves on Dylan Sates. He needs to watch out though. Nathan Norman in the background. 1, well, where we go. This is 6, 7 and 8 at the moment. You can see up on screen. Starting with P6, Dylan Sates at the front of this one. And not too far behind, Justin McLean. Just showing himself in the side mirrors of the cars in front. Long run down the straight though. Pulls over to the side, manages to cover that off, sets himself up for the next corner. Doesn't look like Ash Barella and Nathan Norman are going to get enough toe out of this one. They won't manage to get themselves up on the inside to make a move. Not staying mid-corner there, is he, Dan? He's just staying in tight. You can just see off the back there, maybe Nathan Norman will get a little bit better run out of this one. It does look like the Ash Barella. Nice run, gets right under the rear wing. Now he can tuck him behind, really get that draft. Under brakes. Looks like he's going to get the move done. Ash Barella. Oh, Norman locks him up. Does it so he doesn't catch on to Dylan Sates. Looks like a position there for Ash Barella, gets past.
Yeah, and that move was set up all the way from the run through turn 1 into Southern Loop there. We saw Sites just sit that car a little higher than probably where he needed to be and just suffered getting the drive out of that, and that opened the door. So we'll see plenty of guys throughout this race look to do that. And just in behind, you've got to keep an eye there. Justin McLean also looking to get one over him as well. He might be able to make this work as they crest the top of Lukey Heights and see whether he can throw one down the inside, gain another position. Just gets the door shut on him. And that little train now got 5 cars involved in that, so there's going to be a hotly contested battle.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that looks like. Ash Barella's starting to move away, but Nathan Norman, we check out that battle pack. It's Nathan Brown just off the back of that one too. Now remembering he is sharing a room there with our webcam man, Mr. Blake Warboys. He's sitting in the same room alongside and making me jealous that they've got enough internet to make that happen. So look at Justin McLean a bit further back in the pack there. He's managed to make himself into the pits. He's going at the right time. Where's JB, our fearless leader? Jack Burgess. Was it Jack Burgers? I don't know, Tegan. You tell me.
I think it's Jack Burgers, actually. That's been the official name that I've been told that is his now. So, yeah, that makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah, that's from the media coordinator?
That's from our media coordinator, Mr. Thomas Orton. Let's hope that you and I aren't fired by round 2 of the NTE series.
Oh, look, I've already got the message that says you're not welcome back.
Yeah.
That's both of us, the team. I put Dan on. Said, Dan, come and join us. It's going to be a fantastic series. And he said, Dan makes you two look like amateurs. That's what he said.
Yes. Yeah. And weirdly, we both take that as a compliment.
No, there's no need to butter me up now after the hospital pass earlier on and the little bit of a stir. But look, it's been great. They won't get they'll keep it as it is.
Look, I'm spewing because I'm actually checking out the webcams in the background, and one of the things I'm not happy about is that Tyrone Anderson, I can never get him having a beer for you on screen. I'm going to have to watch that one very, very well. Just trying to see where Mr. Gore is actually. I don't know where he's ended up down the pack. Michael Gore.
Well, you keep an eye on that. Ray Oliver doing a pretty good job there. He's gained 8 spots as well.
Look, he's struggling, Mr. Michael Gore, down the back there in P34 at the moment. You can see concentration. You can't see it in his eyes. He's got the VR goggles on. Great having the Shannons driver cam though this season. We've got a few of them each round. Hopefully that a few more drivers want to get on board, and we'll check him out there as he gets down the straight. You can see he takes a break, manages to have a rest on the arm, gets in the vent, pulls those hands down that are in the gloves in those cooling vents. Comes out there with thanks to McGee's, so it's good to see Michael Gore getting a fair bit of a workout on the sim tonight. You see he starts to get into the business now. He's got to actually use the steering wheel.
As we were watching Gore come down there, we just saw one of the cars coming back in from pit lane there. So that's going to be something that we'll need to keep an eye on later on as the pit stops cycle through. The exit for everyone tonight down at the bottom of Doohan Corner there. So it's going to be a very quick entry. And if you've got cars too wide already, look for possibly someone being out in the weeds as that one happens.
Now, we've got about 6 or 7 cars locked in this battle at the moment. Michael Halkitis and the Yingwadi Ford Mustang is just holding out Bradley Minshall there. It's half a second. Then it goes about a second back to Nick Sutton, and Richard Barella is only 0.3 of a second behind him. So you can see them all starting to line. Nick Sutton there in the high power car. Might actually go back to him because you'll actually see the difference in the time for the next 4 cars. Now it's, oh no, Sutton goes in. There we go. Sutton decides that it's time to make it into the pits. Very interesting here though. I'm just trying to see who that is. Oh, they're all moving around on the screen. Everyone's starting to take these pit stops, which is probably about right from what we'd see. Remembering that we are just over halfway through this race at the moment. 40-minute race here for the supercars. We had a very early safety car, which meant a little bit of fuel conserved there. They could go past halfway. Just under 18 minutes left in this race, and we are seeing the pit stops. That strategy probably about halfway for the tyres and fuel. Do you think that's a good pit stop strategy, Dan? Do you think you'd run it as far as you can on the tyres? I mean, Jack Wittes obviously just going to stay out there. His times are amazing. A 1:29.065 is his best lap so far.
Look, given how hot we saw the track conditions at the start of this race, 35 degrees, for the guys in the mid-pack, it's probably not a bad idea just to play the cards a little bit differently, come in early, try and gain a few spots on the fresh rubber. For the guys that are further out there, and just in saying that, we've now got our top 3 coming into the lane, I would have thought they might have tried to run it that little bit further there, just see if they can eke out a little bit more performance, but they're all sort of covering it off. And actually, all right, on cue, we've got the trainer cars coming in, so currently the top 10 all line astern, making their way into pits to knock over their stops.
Yeah, look at this. They are lined up in there as well. So all of our leaders, they've seen what's happening in the background. I think at this point it's just like, you don't want to let anyone get the undercut on you. Oh, the exit here. Will there be contact made? Oh, it's good iRacing. Let's just overlap a little bit. Why not? There won't be any incidents there. We won't be going up to race control about that one.
No, but keep an eye, a look at Guy Leach there. He's not that far behind. Plus, he's going to have a little bit hotter tyres, which will bring him right into contention as he works his way down through Doohan and into the southern loop there. He's only now 1.8 seconds behind.
Look at them all leaving. They're going to be bunched up, aren't they? This is not going to change where they sit on the racetrack too much.
Oh, we got a few guys off down at southern loop as well. Can't work out who that is. 41's involved doing it, Justin Cotter. So those guys look like they're back underway, but a little bit of something for the guys to navigate their way through.
I'm just trying to see if I can bring up an incident there with an off track. It doesn't look like it's recorded that one for me, unfortunately. It's, yeah, we need to keep those incidents going until we can see what they're doing. Doing off track there. I've got Neil Woodburn going. I might just check it out and see what that was. Maybe we can catch it in the replay here. Well, thanks to Medical Media. Just an off track here at the moment. Give it a second while it catches up. It's gone back quite a few seconds. I'm not quite sure if this might not be what we're talking about.
Well, we got one in the weeds there, just coming back on the car in red, actually two. And just to make it even more interesting, safety car's just been deployed.
Yep, safety
So
car
that'll
is
bunch
out.
the entire field right back up again now.
So safety car back out. Interesting. Well, we'll go back to our leader. Of course, I'll have to pick that up, Jack Widders, and it's going to bunch that up. And I'm just waiting to see if anything else is going to come out of race control, whether we're going to get a reason for that or whether we've got a car maybe stuck in a wall somewhere. Just having a look around on our session events screen to see whether maybe something is going to show up for me there, but I can't see anything there untoward that's showing up. Maybe, just maybe.
No, I did see a couple of cars very slowed down off Lukey Heights. I think it might have been Mitch Drzlecki just working his way back onto the circuit. And then the 39th runner at the moment, Tim Driscoll, very, very slow off Southern Loop as well. He's just brought that car on before Stoner Corner there, so he might be able to get back around and onto the back of this train.
So I can't see anything coming through race control in regards to any penalties for that one. So it might be a car maybe off in the background there. It's going to bunch them up though. This one's going to be interesting, Teague. And now we're going to put all these guys back together as we had a look at the top of the table there. Jack Widders, Guy Leach. Now they're going to get back to the battle that was season number 2021. Can they ignite that again? Damien Malqueen's definitely put a spanner in the works there. You see earlier made that position up. Good for Guy Leach to get back though in that P2. Made up 2 positions since the start of the race. Josh Drage still floating around there in 4th position. Nathan Norman then back in 5th. Kevin Norman in 6th. So Norman, after that brilliant TCR race that he just had where he took out the win, he's now slowly working his way back through the field. Now remembering Nathan Norman has made up 9 positions to make it there. Started out at 14. So that's an impressive run there. We've had the pit stop now. It is a run home. Nathan Norman maybe can get himself on the podium.
Yeah, it's definitely a top 10 that we were, I guess, more expecting to see, but there's also a lot of names further down the field that I don't think we were expecting to see, but obviously the pit strategy is coming into some of this, and we'll see how the rest of the race stacks up with only just over 13 minutes left to go here for the opening round of the Shannons Insurance NTE Series as we get the Shannons driver cam back up on screen. What a view! 2 sims side by side there. That's so good, isn't it, boys? It's oh, the gloves are on.
Look, he's got to have fibre to the house. That's all I'm saying. That is not a copper line.
Oh, you're not even getting that much internet, are you?
Mate, who's your ISP? That's what I'm saying. Let us know. Put it in the comments. No problems here. Not bad. There's no harsh feelings. Yeah, he's stuck back in P9 at the moment, Blake Wall, boys. He's got a bit of work to do. That's all I'm going to say. He can work his way through. You can see the intensity on his face. 7 positions down from where he started. He's checking all his relatives too. He's probably setting himself up on the big screen and going, get me off. Just get me off the screen.
Well, we're right along. We just saw Justin Cotter make his way into the lane, so that will put him a lap down. And he was one of the cars that we saw very, very slow once the safety car was deployed as well.
I'm just trying to find Tyrone Anderson because now is the time he's going to probably get a sneak through. We want to get that one on screen. That's all I'm saying. We just want to get it on screen. I don't know. He's got the nervous nail bite. Look at the damage on his car too. He's definitely been getting in the wars out there.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt the car though. But I'm looking forward to seeing all these guys get the elbows out with the 10 minutes to go though.
He's looking a bit of frustration there, I think, Tyrone Anderson. Look at him. Do you think he can hear us? He's probably listening to us live.
Smile on the face says it all, or someone else is in the room with him. Who knows?
Do you think? Oh, I don't know. I reckon maybe Rossi Johnson's on his Discord. He's saying, can you pick your nose in front of the camera? It's only going out to like lots of social media streams. I'm loving having the guys in the webcam. It's actually good, isn't it? It's good to catch up with them and see what they do.
It reminds me of the ICOT series we did together, Matty, back in 2020, where we had Hayden Brown with his group of shirtless boys in behind him, cheering him on the entire time with the webcam going on. That's what this is all about.
All I'm saying is the guys on the webcam need to step it up. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get your mates involved. Look, drag the sim down to the pub. That would be the perfect way to do it, wouldn't it?
Well, mate, at the front of Bunnings, get a Bunnings snag and a hat on.
Yeah, I don't know why we haven't
Absolutely.
thought of this before. Maybe we need to go to Shannons Insurance office in Darwin, set up 6 sim rigs with the cam across all of them. That's an idea. That's all I'm saying. I'm sure Rob will be in for that.
Do the commentator celebrity race.
Well, look, I think maybe we could win one of those passes to go up to supercars. Maybe for the final round, the Shannons Insurance could fly us 3 up there. We could do it live from Shannons Insurance. Just putting it out there, Rob. Budget. I mean,
Come on, Rob. Come on,
yeah,
Rob.
come on, Rob.
Come on, Rob. We know you're listening.
There's no iron team.
But there's definitely Dan, Cav, and Peck.
Yeah. A few wave rounds going around. You can see going past our safety car at the moment. So that is some cars getting a wave around there to get back onto the lead lap. So we could see this car out for a bit longer. We are less than 10 minutes now remaining in this race, and it's going to be a sprint to the finish.
Yeah, if I heard correctly, just before safety car was going to be in this lap as well, but I think that was just prior to these wave rounds going around. But keep an eye; he's always pulled a little bit of a gap now over Widders. So one more lap for the safety car. So we might end up with just 5 minutes on the clock here, and this is going to be rip snort to finish with all these guys trying to find that little bit of an edge.
Yeah, I suppose you remember that they're going around 130s, but behind the safety car, yeah, they're definitely over the 2-minute mark. So slow them down like that. Chew the time up. Everyone's going to have plenty of fuel, plenty of tyres. It's going to be an absolute dogfight to the end.
Well, how many are going to be in the weeds at the end of the lap here? If we go one more, that's going to put 5 minutes on the clock. We think potential. We might see
maybe
5 or 6 of these guys all getting nerfed off down towards Southern Loop.
Think about that. That's only going to put us maybe 4. Maybe we'll get on the 5th lap on the restart. We might get 5 more laps in this race. So, yeah, mate, elbows are going to be out. I think this is going to be a fairly push and shove. A lot of those liveries that we see are nice and clean at the moment, I think are going to start to be blemished towards the end of this race, I would say. We've already got a few of them. Tyrone Anderson down the back there's got a few blemishes on the side of his, but there's not too many war wounds, actually. I'm quite surprised at the level of driving here in round number 1. I suppose the first year there's not a lot of the drivers there had a lot of iRacing experience. We've got a lot more contenders there from around Australia, and of course our Kiwi mate in here. The level of driving has been very, very good. You can tell that by the amount of damage on the cars. Now, I know they can grab a fast repair if they don't want the pits, and that'll get the livery nice and shiny again, but I'm just having a look. Not too many up there in the top 20 have grabbed the fast repair, actually. Most of them haven't. So it's got to show the level of driving between everyone at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And if something does happen, we get one more lap at the end of this one, and there is a big lot of damage. You want that one up the sleeve in case you need to use it and get yourself back in, because at the end of the day, you need to finish. You need to get the points if you want to be in the hunt for the championship.
I'm just going through our Discord. I'm trying to see if we actually do have Sean Norris in here, because I'd love for him to jump in the Discord later and maybe we can have a bit of a chat with him about his setup and how he's going. Doing this just off the hand controls, it'd be great to see him. And it's not every day you get to talk to an Olympic gold medalist. I mean, I get to talk to Tegan often, but, second best is an Olympic gold medalist.
It's close. It's a close second.
Very, very close.
I'm just a general gold medalist in my own head.
Yeah, mate. Look, second to none. Second to none. I'm just having a look here. Well, I think we're about to get underway. I'm just having a look at the webcams there. Nothing too exciting going on in the background. I should have spaced them out so I could have put all 4 of them. That's what I'll do next time. I'll do a multi-cam one so I can see what all of them are doing at once. We'll set that one up for the next couple of rounds. So everybody watching us out there, thank you for tuning in on the social medias, wherever you are watching from. Hopefully you're streaming it to your TV and getting a little bit of a taste of what the NTE series is all about. We are trying to get through all the drivers out. There's so many this season, like we say, 45 drivers there. Unfortunately, looks like Clay Richards couldn't make it here this week. Sado, well, we thought he was out, but he's back. So that's good news.
Media man letting us down there.
He let us down. I think we're not too far away from getting back underway. Safety cars in. They're going to come around this corner very shortly. Jack Widders is going to lead us away. How far back is he? Here we go. Look at the run. Look at the gap. Jack Widders has already opened up.
He's jumped early, and same with Guy Leach. Got away very, very early. Mole Queen a little bit napping there. The looks.
Look at him in the background there. It's only Guy Leach that grabbed a bit of dirt. I haven't seen too many other people push it out too wide. Nice and clean on the restart. There's going to be a few runs down there. Oh, I think that's how Keita said might get a bit of a run. Go back to Jack Willis leading us here on this race.
Drop spots. Down into 6th position. He keeps falling back. He's gone off the circuit here. There he is in the background at Southern Loop.
We might see if we can get a replay on this one, just to find out what happened. Have a look at this one. Oh, he's already off in the background there. Who is that?
Yeah, he had a big runner towards Guy Leach down through Doohan and into the loop there, but just looks like he's put the wheel off. That's sent him well down the order. He's rejoined, but now down in 11th position.
Yeah, a bit of a tough corner, that one. If you're really pushing it hard and trying to get a good run there, you've got to be very careful not to send it too hard, because as soon as you drop that wheel off, you can lose your traction, especially in these supercars, very quickly and lose a lot of positions, as just felt there. But yeah, completely changed up the running order here with Josh Drake up there in 3rd position, Nathan and Kevin Norman in 4th and 5th, back to McLean Warboys, Varela, Nathan Brown and Crosby there with Jack Witters and Guy Leach as your race leaders, with only just on 4 minutes left to run of this opening round of the Shannons Insurance NTE Series at Phillip Island Raceway. TCR race run and done, and now getting the V8 race sorted.
There we go. It's Ash Barella there. As you can see, obviously back in 8th position, Nathan Brown, Dean Crosby and Mark Peck. Oh, no, sorry, I got that wrong. That's not Mark Peck. That's Damon Malqueen there in 11th. That's where he's ended up back there. You can see there's only just under 2 seconds between those 4.
Yeah, there'll be a tight little battle there. You can see the 4 cars involved in that. We've got one just a little out of sorts there, I believe, but those guys be not leaving anything on the table there. 3 minutes to go. I was going to say, for the top 10 at the moment, the driver that's picked up the most amount of spots in our top 10, Nathan Norman, we saw him take out the win in TCR before. He's picked up 10 spots over the course of this race, so he has driven the wheels off that supercar to get himself just outside the podium positions.
And he's dragged his bro along with him, Kevin Norman. Now, Kevin Norman wasn't as far back, of course. He was only in 10th position at the start of this race, but since he's made that position pass, Kevin Norman's just tucked under that rear wing and really looks, I think we might see something happening in the background there. Possibly if we go back, I'm just going to see if we can find a replay of what was going on in the background. It looked like a little bit of dust come up. It's very tight. Oh, who was that? That was Ash Barella, was it? No, I was trying to have a look who that was in the background there. Might have been Nathan Brown, I'm not sure. Getting loose, especially coming down to that corner there. Come over the crest there. Car gets light, very hard to handle. Blake Warboy is back, trying to get himself back in the position now, and on the back of Kevin Norman in the flat-out karts Mustang. Blake Warboy is very fast here. He might get the move done.
Sends it in from a long way back, but pulls it up beautifully there into Honda. A little bit of a drag of the brakes, but he might get the crisscross put back on him here as Kevin Norman tries to work his way back through to it, and just enough to hold that position. Gets himself back into 5th spot.
Justin McLean just hanging off the back of this one as well. Just watch, because 3rd in the TCR race, got himself into P7 now. There's not much time, minute and a half. We're probably going to, they won't get another lap, and I reckon this is going to be. Just trying to see where the leader is at the moment. As we bring up the track map here, that might be the best way to have a look at this one. Because
we'll get one more.
We're going to get one more lap, but I think this is as they come across the line. This is going to be it, is what I'm saying. It's going to be. Yeah, we're not going to get it. It's a minute and a half to get around. So Jack Witters, this is going to be the final lap now. Guy Leach, I don't think is going to catch up to that one there, and it's really going back. Josh Drage needs to watch out. Nathan Norman's right behind. He's got an opportunity with the final lap to run in this race. This is the one to watch.
Something's happened to Kevin Norman as well down at off the top of Lukey Heights there. That car's just teleported straight back into pit lane, so his night is done, unfortunately. And that drops him out of a good top 10 position as well.
Yeah, that's unfortunate here as we keep on with the pool, guys. Complete pool care. Battle pack. Under 0.4 of a second on the final lap. They won't get time to get another one, and we're in a time-sensitive race. will finish whatever lap we're on at 40 minutes when they're not going to get around and finish in 20 seconds. So this will be the final one. You see our leaders up in front. Jack Widders, Guy Leach in second. Then it's third and fourth on your screen now. Josh Strage over Nathan Norman. Can Nathan Norman get himself onto the podium? It's been a big race. 10 positions already. Can he make it 11? Just having a look further down the pack. Definitely got some close races a bit further on as well.
Yeah, Jake Burgess in a really good scrap there. Ray Oliver just in behind, and Spatch is in there as well. Those guys are scrapping over 15th position at the moment. So keep an eye on these guys at the front.
No, we'll jump back to this one just very, very quickly. I'm sure we're not too far away from finishing this race. All right, looks like Jack Widders not too far. Here we go, flash of the lights. Looks like it's going to be a win here for Jack Widders. Guy Leach in second. Here we get Josh Strage managed to get in third position there. Our top three, they keep coming through. It's going to be Nathan Norman in close fourth, Blake Warboys in fifth, Justin McLean in sixth, Ash Borelli in seventh, Daniel Malqueen in eighth position there. That's a bit of a fight back there. Darren Crosby in ninth, and Nathan Brown will round out our top 10. You see him coming across the finish line. Just waiting to see how the boys managed to finish that fight out that they just had there for 15. Jake Bird just managed to hold him at 15. Tommy Horton just in front of him. What a battle between the guys behind the scenes. Paul Mansell back in 13th position. Very uncharacteristic for him to be that far back. So he won't be happy with that one. That was a tough qualifying, I suppose, for Paul Mansell as well. So a tough night. He's already in the pit lane. He won't be he won't be too happy about that one. He'll be reaching the fridge pretty quick, I'd say. Waiting for the final few cars to cross the finish line. As you can see, number one, Jack Widders, Guy Leach in second. Oh, Ryan Robson, what's he doing? Trying to slide the car. Thinks he's at Keep It Reap Battle Royale. Back off in the background. What's he doing, Mr. Robson?
I think he's just got an E for effort there.
Oh, who's doing the burnouts there? Look at this. It's look, the guys on the podium, I must admit, we've I got to thank them there. It's been some great stuff going on as we're just trying to get on and see exactly where these guys are ending up.
If you can jump on board with Tommy Horton and Nick Sutton right now, they are doing what they do best. What number were they?
Oh, Tommy Horton.
77.
We know this is going to be the Roadrunner NT. Look at this. It's going to be the burnout party at the end of the night for Tommy Horton. Sutto can't be too far away. That's all I'm saying.
Just ahead, that's for sure.
Look, the boys like to party after the NT series. That's all I'm saying. They like to party. Tim Gracie in the background, the RACQ. Where is Tim Gracie? What's he doing? I mean, look at this. I'm going to bring him up here. Tim Gracie in the webcam. Our Shannons driver cam. He's got a fair bit of work to do one hand. Oh no, look at this. Multi-skilling. This is what I like. Tyrone Anderson. This is what you call rage quitting. Gone. He's already gone. He's just left.
He's done.
He's done.
The belts are off. He's out of here.
The belts are gone. Tyrone Anderson not hanging around at all. Oh, how good is it to have the Shannons Insurance? We are going to have a chat, I think, with a few of these. They're down in the green room, guys. I think one of you can probably drag them in and have a bit of a chat with them, as I'm going to bring up some results for us to talk about. What I might do is we might quickly just grab the race results here at the Shannons Insurance NTE Series round number 1, the V8 Supercar race. The second race of the night, of course, our TCR was won by Nathan Norman, Damon Malqueen, and then Justin McLean was in third. But here we go, our results for the Supercar race. Jack Widders takes it out. 21 laps completed in the end with a couple of safety cars in there. Guy Leach just over 1 second behind in second. Josh Strage in third. Nathan Norman fourth. Blake Warboys fifth. Justin McLean in sixth. Ash Broller in seventh. Damon Malqueen in eighth. Darren Crosby in ninth. Nathan Brown was in 10th. Stephen Kennedy in 11th. Daniel Norris in 12th. Paul Mansell back in 13th. Tommy Horton still doing burnouts in 14th. Jake Burgess will be already watching the stream to find out what we did wrong in 15th. Craig Anspach in 16th. Dean Powell in 17th. Callan Gear in 18th. Michael Howkidis in 19th. Dylan Saints back in 20th. Nick Sutto back in 21st, Michael Gore in 22nd, Ray Oliver 23rd, Richard Barella in 24th, Neil Woodburn in 26th, Shane Newens and Mark Peck up to 27th. He'll be pretty excited about that one. James Zetz in 28th, John Van Ria in 29th, Sean Norris back in 30th, and we're hoping he might jump into us our Discord and have a bit of a chat with us, Sean Norris. Matty Burns in 31st, Michael Ladder in 32nd, Cameron Edwards in 33, Bradley Minshall in 34, James Balvins in 35th, Mitch Drizlecki in 36th, Tim Gracie in 37th, Ryan Robson 38th, Tyrone Anderson 39th, and Kevin Norman in 40th, Tim Driscoll in 41st, Justin Cotter back in 42nd, Simon Farrington 43rd, and that rounds out all of our races here. Of course, it was fantastic to have everybody on here at Phillip Island. We still got some interviews to come your way, and we might try and drag someone in very shortly, guys. Good to see you've been working on that in the background.
Here you go. Here is Josh Drage for you.
Josh Drage. Oh, let's have a look at our podium here. He's coming third in the supercars, Josh Drage. Mate, first thing I need to ask is how hard was it to qualify in 2 cars tonight?
Well, if you look at my TCR, I was fair way down and only did 1 lap because I just finished installing the game before the end of quali. But yeah, it was hard, but I somehow winged it. First lap was my best lap.
Mate, there's nothing to be ashamed about that. I mean, very hard. How do you find it going straight from a TCR car into the supercar? Is it difficult?
Yeah, it's like much more power, much easier to drive. But yeah, I don't know, picked it up straight away, which was good.
Mate, run us through anyone you need to thank for this weekend. Of course, I know she got the WKMP livery on board.
Yeah, thanks to WKMP. Yeah, I've somehow, well, it's not somehow, but I've got them all racing this week, so it's good to get them in the series. Sounds like they're all enjoying themselves, so yeah, glad they come across.
What would it mean if you could probably get up to Jack Widdus, who was up the front? I mean, very hard to get through the pack. Like, how important is it to qualify so you can challenge him for the lead?
He's not my speed. If Blake didn't get the penalty, they would have been gone, those two, I think, pushing each other. No, I don't think I'll get there, but happy with third for now.
Look, mate, congratulations on tonight. Third, a podium. Rack yourself up some points. We've still got 4 rounds left to go. Can't wait to see what you can do in round number 2.
Thanks, guys. Good call.
Well, good to hear Joshy Drage there. And, of course, we will move on to our second place. Next is going to be Guy Leach, the winner of last season. And I'll let you take this away, Tegan.
Hey, Guy, welcome back for the 2022 series. And not a bad result to kick it all off.
Yeah, I was very happy with that. Didn't have the outright pace, but a couple of things went my way, so I was very pleased.
Yep. So, how was the race for you tonight overall? I mean, what was it? What was it like? I guess transitioning between the 2 cars.
It was hard actually. It took me a while to get a qualifying lap in. I thought I was going to be starting at the rear for a bit there. So, just the braking really is the hardest bit because in the little TCR you can brake really late, whereas this thing just goes sailing off. But once the race started, it was all right. I just settled in and tried to stay out of trouble.
Yep. And do you have a preference when you look at it? Like, do you think if you could just choose to run the V8 car, you would stick with that, or do you think the TCR is a bit easier to drive? Like, what do you sort of think there?
Yeah, the TCR is probably easier, but I think I prefer the V8 just because I've been driving it for so long. So once you get over that initial transition from the other car, it becomes just muscle memory, really.
Yeah, excellent. And look, I mean, a good start to the series for the 2022 year, and no doubt a few people you want to thank.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the series sponsors and organisers. They've done a really good job. And yeah, Injectors Online and Cool Drive, really. And my teammate Paul Mansell paints some very nice cars.
No doubt you got to thank him. All right, Guy, thanks heaps for stopping in, and we look forward to seeing it round 2 of the NTE series.
Cheers, guys.
Look, we won't muck around. Jack Widdus, we've already dragged you in here, mate. You get yourself a win in the first round of the NTE series for 2022, all thanks to Shannons Insurance. It's in the supercar. Not a good night in the TCR, though.
Yeah, no, I had an absolute shocker in the TCR. My apologies for taking old mate out there. I just thought I had enough room on the left there, but obviously not.
Look, mate, what brought you back to doing the NTE series?
Just a good group of guys, and just it's just a bit of fun.
Look, mate, we love to hear that you're having a fantastic time here in the NTE series. I mean, the camaraderie that we see throughout this one, the promotion, everything like that. Who would you like to see in the series as a wild card in the next 4 rounds?
be good to get Gizzy in here at some stage, but yeah, who knows?
Who's he? Who's he?
Yeah, that's it.
Look, how important, if you got him in the series, how good would it be to get a win over him? Just so you could, let him know when it comes to some of those supercar rounds when you're in the back paddock and you can go up there and tap him on the shoulder and say, mate, I beat you in a series. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I think I'd be a very slim chance of getting in front of him, but I've had a few good races with him in a couple of other series, so yeah, should be fun if we could get him in.
Look, mate, run us through your sponsors who you need to thank for tonight.
Timmy and Tammy Event Childcare, the Cover Shop, and Auto House Storage.
Look, it's a strong start to the season. We know you didn't get the points in the TCR, but you've got yourself a swag of points when it comes to the supercar. Hopefully you can carry that on throughout the season because we know how close it was between you and Guy Leach last year. And let's hope it's like that in round number 5.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully I can just keep it clean for the rest of it.
No worries, mate. We'll let you go. And congratulations. We'll see you next week for round number 2.
Thanks, boys.
Look, I'll grab Sean Norris to come in to have a bit of a chat because not every day we get to talk to someone like this. And Dan, I know you've got a lot to ask him.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Sean, great to have you in the broadcast booth, mate. You had a fantastic drive out there tonight, jumping into the series. Look, the big question we've got, obviously, different controls for yourself to run through here, and we want to get a bit of an understanding. How do you set up your cockpit to get yourself in the game for iRacing?
Yeah, so it started a bit interesting. You know, in the beginning, I was trying to find something that would suit my style and how I wanted to race. And I was just very lucky. I was looking at the Fanatec setup, and they have the Podium Advanced paddle modules for the F1 wheel. So, yeah, I've just got, I guess you'd say that the clutch paddles on each side of the wheel, and I just use those as accelerator and brake to do my thing.
Fantastic, mate. Well, you look very comfortable in the TCR tonight. We saw you getting a really strong run there. You gained quite a few positions. Supercar maybe a little bit difficult to get right, but what was your preference out there?
Yeah, the TCR's nice. Like, I don't really have a good feel because there's no real weight behind the brake, obviously, with the paddle. So I find with the TCR, obviously, there's a bit of safety in there with the braking and a little bit less power as well. So, yeah, easier for me to drive, but today my consistency really got me, so I need to work on that. But yeah, really, really enjoyed it.
And we're looking forward to seeing you hopefully for the remaining 4 rounds of the championship this season.
If I'm invited, that'd be nice. I'll definitely give it. I had a blast tonight. It was really, really good fun.
Look, we know a bloke. That's all I'm saying. We know a bloke.
Am I invited now? Am I? If I just shoot in,
know. We'll talk to ScoMo. We'll talk to you for you.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, guys. Maybe Mark too. Mark might have to let me out.
But you did a fantastic job out there, mate. The cars look absolutely stellar out on track there. But is there anyone you need to give a bit of a shout out to before we let you go?
Just like to thank Tim for putting the skin together on the car. I reckon it looks awesome. It's really nice to represent the Australian Rollers men's wheelchair basketball team. And yeah, just for the invitation, and my brother Daniel as well. Just, keep me in touch and give me this opportunity. So thanks, boys. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, mate. Well, look, top effort tonight, and hopefully we'll see you back in for future rounds.
Thank you.
All right, we move on to our TCR cars. We didn't get to catch up with all of our winners last time, but in third place in the first TCR race of the NTE series ever, of course, is Justin McLean. Welcome into the commentator's booth, mate. Good to see you or hear from you.
Thanks, mate. Cheers for having me. First little post-race interview, so we'll see how we get on.
We'll see. It could be a last if you got to behave yourself sometimes, all right?
I hope there's a delay, mate. Otherwise, it could be the last.
Look, the TCR's fared well for you tonight. How comfortable are you in the car?
I wouldn't say I'm super comfortable, mate. I pulled a bit of a Stephen Bradbury, to be honest. I think a few blokes went bowling in front of me, and I was a beneficiary of it. So I'll take it though.
Mate, you never miss out an opportunity. You got to be there to obviously get that manoeuvre done and get past. What are you hoping to get out of it? Like, why are you back for another season? You're just enjoying it, the camaraderie?
Yeah, mate. To be honest, I'm just really impressed by the way the series is run. The streams and just the way the guys work in the background, putting it all together. It's really good quality. I'm not particularly good in either car, I'd say, but I just like the series, yeah.
Mate, it's good to hear that. We love having you part of it. And who do you need to thank for this season?
Oh, just the crew from Loud Signs and the MCM boys and girl. Keep me sane.
Keeping you sane, mate. Look, congratulations on the TCR, getting on the podium tonight, and hopefully we're going to be talking to you in the next couple of rounds.
Thanks very much, mate. Cheers.
All right, we'll move on to our runner-up in the TCR race tonight here for the Shannons Insurance NTE Series. And, of course, it's going to be David Mulqueen. Congratulations, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Look, a second place. Tough night for you out there. Everyone seemed to be battling for positions in the TCR round.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting towards the start. Didn't quite get the start I wanted. Bogged it down, then burst into wheel spin, I think, from memory. And that sort of dropped me back a wee bit, and then it was sort of like just biding your time, wait and see what happened, and all of a sudden gates opened at turn 1, and then they opened again at turn 2. And it was like, all right, I'll take it.
Mate, you got to take every opportunity you can possibly get when it comes to iRacing. But no, look, a fantastic effort there to get on the podium there in the TCR race. Weren't too far off getting there in the supercar, mate. You showed a lot of potential in that one as well.
Yeah, just a slight fail by me on the restart there. It's either I came into turn 2 just a little bit too hot and pressed the brake a wee bit too hard, or I went in there on my normal spot and just pressed the brake too hard, pinched the front left, and off she went, but managed to recover it and gain a few more positions before the end. So, yeah, take it. I think it puts me somewhere in the top 5 in points, give or take. And then from now on, it's going to be just all consistency to hopefully try and bring it home.
Well, mate, we can't wait to see what you can do in round number 2. Do you need to thank any sponsors?
Oh, there's a few of them.
Go through them. Go through them.
Oh, I will. Just got to thank the guys at Signage Sim Racing for giving me 2 top quality bits of kit there for tonight. To all our partners, Smith & Sons Renovation, Wave Runner Performance Centre, Dr. Epoxy, DGG Customs, Australian Laminating Company, DM Cinematography, DO Photo, Aussie's Mechanical Repairs, It's a Dog's Life Quality Dog Kennels, JK Signs, Newlon, 88 Media, Aftershock PC, also to Race Control and the whole team behind the series, and to you guys up on the broadcast, and as well as the series sponsors.
Mate, it's been an enjoyable first round. We can't wait to see what the rest of the series brings you.
Yeah, cheers, guys. I'm looking forward to it.
No worries. We'll speak to you soon. And finally, a man who impressed us in the supercars and the TCR. He took the win out in the first ever race for 2022 in the Shannons Insurance NTE Series. He's quite capable behind the wheel, and he almost got on the podium in the supercars after making up some ridiculous amount of positions. Nathan Norman.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Mate, the flat-out karts, how much kart racing have you been doing?
Nothing since 2019, so yeah.
It's all iRacing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I take it back. Then you're a seasoned veteran by now.
Oh, I only do a little bit, a couple of nights a week, and yeah, I was surprised how I went tonight, to be honest.
Do you enjoy doing the TCR cars? Do you think it's a nice format there to have the TCR followed by the supercar?
Yeah, I actually just came off a TCR series, so I was pretty confident in the TCR, and that's where we ended up probably first.
What do you think? Could have? What led to you making up so many positions in the supercar race? Was it down to a bit of pit stop strategy, a bit of luck, or you just seemed to be very comfortable in the car?
It just came down to luck, I think. I felt pretty confident, but yeah, I struggled in qualifying, so I wasn't sure where I was going to end up, but we managed to get through, and I'm lucky where I came.
Look, mate, run us through your sponsors and who you need to thank for tonight.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank my team, High Octane SimSport, Transport Equipment Hire, Turbo Signs, and Flat Out Karts.
Mate, it's been a fantastic night of racing. Good luck for the rest of the series, and we hope to be talking to you once again very shortly.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you to Shannons for sponsoring the series, and Medicav for broadcasting. Thank you.
No worries, mate. Hopefully we'll be speaking to you soon. Look, Dan Teagan, it's been a fantastic way to kick off round number 1 here from Phillip Island for the Shannons Insurance NTE series. Remembering we've got round number 2 coming next week from the Red Bull Ring live stream once again, all thanks to Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning, MP Style, Signage and Graphics, Paul Mansell Photography, Higher Power, Auto Inspections and Road Services NT, the Pool Guys Adelaide, Cool Drive, and of course West Oz Roof Restorations. Anything you want to add, fellas?
No, look, it was a great round from both the TCR perspective and supercars at Phillip Island. Looking forward to seeing what both are going to offer up when we head out to the Red Bull Ring. It's a very different circuit to what we've seen tonight. Some big stop-start sections, especially up at the top hairpin there, which may cause a few little incidents. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And guys need to be really careful with the off-track section, just around where the pit entry is, because it's very easy just to run those cars a little bit wide. But really looking forward to seeing what we're going to be served up next week out.
And I do love this, Teagan. Tyrone's sitting in the background, and he wants a full debrief from you.
Where?
He's just sitting there. Oh, he's just gone off. He's put it in the social media. Let me talk. I'll give a full race debrief.
There is no way we're letting him. He's probably just put down 6 beers in between the end of the race. But no, this has been a great round 1, and what a way to kick off with Phillip Island in Melbourne. And yeah, very much looking forward to seeing what round 2 will produce. And yeah, the new format, very exciting, and really throw some challenges in there. And been absolutely fantastic to work with you lads. Dan, you and I for the first time, and Matty Cav working with you again. It's always a pleasure.
All right, guys. Well, thank you to everyone who's watched us on the social media and the live stream. We can't wait to see you next week at the Red Bull Ring. Until then, peace out.
Looking for an easy option for equipment or plant hire? Higher Power NT staff have over 40 years experience in the territory and are now located in 3 convenient locations. With quality customer service and extensive product knowledge, why would you use anyone else? You'll find us in Yarrawonga, Winnelli and Catherine with the latest, most up-to-date equipment for the local tradie and DIY enthusiast. Call us today for all your equipment and plant hire needs. We've got it, or we'll get it.
The 2022 Shannons Insurance NTE Series is back with a new challenge. All thanks to our series sponsors. Shannons Insurance, Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning, Paul Mansell Photography, NP Style Signage and Graphics, Auto Inspections and Road Services NT, West Oz Roof Restorations, Higher Power NT, Pool Guys Adelaide, Cool Drive, and Matty Cav Media.